Good morning and welcome to Flory Models Live at 9:15. Alright, we can't lie. Yes, we'll edit out that last 15 minutes of complete cock up. Apologies to everybody. Hopefully we can move on now. If you're watching this as a recording, you'll never know the problems we've had this morning. So Steve, once again, tell us about your morning.
Well, I started off by cutting myself. There you go. On my
Very good.
finger, which were really good. And then I had a shelf collapse, and luckily the models were already kind of been damaged before, but there must be 4 or 5 on the floor now. So, but I've got memories of them, and it makes a good load of spare parts, you know. Yeah, it's a mess today, isn't it? We're all right earlier.
Yeah, I must admit, it's a little bit of a cock-up this morning, but hopefully now we have got it all sorted and it's all behind us and we can move on. Right, so hopefully, if you can hear me or watch this, just tell people to refresh, because if they don't refresh their page screens and all the rest of it, they're just going to get a grey screen of death at the moment. So anyway, recapping, have I got enough cable? Have I got enough cable? Hold on, let me just grab it. We have, obviously the plan of action this morning is we're going to paint these up. Now I still need to mask mine because hence it's still white. Okay, so I'm going to mask the white areas, and then what we're going to do is get some orange onto these, and then as they're drying, obviously we'll be answering your questions, anything you want to know about various bits and pieces, and we can then make our way perhaps with building something else and various things. But don't forget, it's very informal. Grab yourself a coffee for the next sort of 3 hours and you can join us and let the mayhem commence. At least you're not locking up though, are you?
No, at least I can see you for a change, which is really good.
It's nice not having like a 1 minute delay.
Well, yeah, it's even worse because it's easy just not looking and just looking at yourself, and all I can do is hear you, which is a bit, when you're demonstrating and say, so what do you think? And you're like, well, I can't see it. You know, every time a minute, you can't just sit there for a minute.
Yeah, wait.
But hopefully, we're back.
We're back. We're sorted. So yes, this is the plan for this morning anyway. We're going to try and get some colour onto these, which would be nice to be able to start making our way through with the builds, because let's face it, they have been going, I don't know how long we've been working on these now? A few months.
Yeah.
To say the least. So yes, we could do with getting a little bit of this done. Oh God, paper bags everywhere. So yes, it could have been worse, because my problem yesterday, so apologies for the news show, Daily Show being up a little bit late yesterday, is that we had to be honest, it was one of those sped up scenes I had a fault in the encoding. So every time I tried to render to it, it got to it and then couldn't, and it would just stop. And I'm thinking it's the computer, I'm blaming the computer. So I had to offload the files from that, take them up to the other computer, put it on that one, it did it, and then an hour into it, it says it's got a problem as well. And it's like, right, okay. And then I had to work out which file it was without having to reshoot an entire day's worth and try and cobble it all together again. So I was up to sort of 8:30 last night trying to get it to go. Eventually it went straight down onto the new fast computer, rendered it in 20 minutes, and then it went up and it was fine. So that was a little bit of a thing. So my day's sort of been going bad to worse to terrible. But I haven't cut myself today, so I'm all right, apart from my burn, which loads of people have mentioned about my burn on the back of my hand. Yes, I did get it on the cooker or stove, wherever you are in the world, getting out the old roast potatoes on Sunday, and I must admit, I burnt myself. And to be honest, it's one of those things, it doesn't hurt, I can't feel it, it's just that I must be getting old, because where that would have healed up in like about an hour when I was young, I was like Wolverine when I was young. I could cut myself and it'd be gone easy. Like my tattoo healed up within like 3 days, and it'd like, you know, but nowadays it takes a long time to heal for some reason. It's what you get for your midlife crisis. But yeah, that's all that is. It's just a little burn on the back of the hand. But I had loads of people message me yesterday saying, what have you done to your hand? And it's like, that's it. Roast potatoes, worth it though. They were very nice, I must say. Anyway, usual thing, as you can see on there, that's where you need to post your questions down in the lower left. Obviously, just go to the forum, pop them in there. Please don't put them anywhere else, because after the show, what happens is I obviously have a look around and you can find them on everywhere. I've got them as emails, I've got them as the messages on the Today page on the main site. We have them elsewhere in the forum and Facebook and everywhere else, and text. The thing is, I don't know until after the show, because that's the only place we look for them. So please, if you are, you know, got a question for us or something else you want to talk about and general things, make sure it goes into that forum, and that way we can see it as we go. Or I would do if I had a phone. Although I might treat myself to an iPad, a nice big Pro one, when they do
Yeah,
the
you
new ones
should
that
do.
come out next month.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well, the
they'll be cheap
phone's
then.
due out this year as well, isn't it? The new
Yeah,
phone.
next month, isn't it? September, October, the new phone comes
Yeah.
out.
Well, it's usually when my contract's up for renewal.
Hmm.
So let's
Oh,
see
if
if we can
you're...
break my record. Can you remember we were about? I had mine for about 2 weeks. It was straight after Telford, and I totaled the iPhone 6.
That's right, yeah, I must
First
admit.
person to do so in Huddersfield.
First person
I
in
done
Huddersfield
2 weeks.
totally.
All
That's not...
all it took, and it only dropped probably 3 foot,
Mm,
and that were it. And screen just went. Shh.
yeah,
So it's insurance. Good job I had it.
yeah, I must admit. Have you seen that screen protector you can put on, and you can hit it with a hammer? If you
Yeah,
go
I've
to,
seen that. I'm
go
not
to
going to try that
Oh,
though.
I know, that's the thing, because Unbox Therapy does it, doesn't it? He puts it on and he's got a hammer and he taps it gingerly, and by the end he's like whacking it, just waiting for it to break. But that's great because it's shocking directly onto it. But if you drop it on the edge, I still reckon it'll shatter. It'll go. So let me just load up my phone and make sure we're all good. Right, is it really happy? That's you, Steve. That's Sid. Sid's alive. Sid's alive. Right, okay. It's all good. Jessup's, I don't think that's for us. Right, okay. And 190. Right, okay. First of all, I do have to thank everybody for the information I've had for the actual 190 aerial. Yes, it has started one hell of a storm across the internet about should it be slack, should it be taut. Now, the problem we have with it, as I said about in yesterday's show, is that there's no definitive answer out there, but we think we've got one. And apologies, I can't remember your name, it will be over on the other computer. But one guy has sent me loads of information about the reasons between the taut variant and the actual slack one. And it turns out it's all to do with the armoured canopy behind. If it's got the armoured canopy, as in the big sort of steel that you can see through the glass, that'll be a slack one because there's no way for the aerials to sort of generally have the tensioners in because the armour's in the way. The ones which don't have the armour, and you do get both versions in the kit as well, it's one which just has a bar behind the actual armour plate, so the pilot has a plate like this behind, but it's not like a cover. That has the tensioners in, so consequently that's how it all works. So this one technically does need to have the slack aerial put onto it, so next week I will do that. I'll cut that one and I'll probably make a new one. It will be easier, or I might just pop an extension onto it so it is a little bit slack, and that is the difference. But apparently the bubble ones which have the bar running through and not the thing, I can show you on mine actually if I try and do this clever. This is where I'll break my model, just to cap today off brilliantly. If I go full screen, it's like a public announcement this. Where's me full screen, full one? Okay, so what we're talking about here is this canopy here. You see where it's solid at the back? The best way to show you. Well, there we go. So you see it's solid. The other ones just have bars. Okay, so apparently the ones that are solid didn't have tensioners because there's no room for it because this is in the way, because apparently it splits into two and goes down. These ones didn't, so when the canopy slid back it just went slack. So if you're doing the one with the two bars, you can have a tensioner in it. If it's a flat type of canopy, i.e. it isn't the roundy off one like this is, or the sort of blown out one, then that has a tensioner. But if it's a bulgy one and has a bar, it will go slack. So that's as far as I can tell. So far, that's the best information I've had, purely because, quite frankly, it does make quite good sense. It's not like it's one of those things where, yeah, there's a 50-50 because I've got people saying one or other way. This information sounds to be quite credible. Haven't seen any proof of it yet, but it does sound to be quite a good idea to me. So next week I will get that done. But say last night after the show went up, it literally boom. I woke up this morning to like I think it's 15 messages, and then various things through the site and forum and all the other bits and pieces about it. So hopefully we can get that sorted out. We'll be good to go.
Here's a little thing for you, Phil.
Go on.
You know the tape that Krista sent?
Yes.
You want to fold a small piece of this up and just have it on the seat under one of its seat belts. It'd look quite cool, actually.
Yeah, yeah, it would look very good on that. We'll
just that nice little extra touch, innit?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It is. It's, yeah, as you say, you think, okay, it's like a gimmick, but actually you think of all the things you could do with it. As you say, you just fold it on in itself and you could stick it anywhere, or if you wanted to have it sort of crinkled onto a surface so it looks like it's conformed, you could actually stick it down onto something and have that look of a map. So yeah, definitely.
In fact, if you put it down on small piece of foil
Yeah.
Stuck it onto that, because then when you bend it, it'll
Yeah, it'll
hold the
crinkle up like
shape.
the real
Yeah,
paper. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. So yes, very good indeed. Right, okay, so if we do a couple of questions just before to get us going, and then what we'll do is we'll load up the paint. God
Well, you
help
need to
us.
start masking,
Yes, I will. You can start painting, and I'll be masking as you're painting then.
and you'll still catch and overtake me.
Oh, what about that? I'll
Well, I
give it
did
a
find
whirl.
out something to make it so easy. You know the where the rotor is, that top bit. I'll show you on
Yeah,
mine. That's just solid white.
yeah,
It didn't know funny shape like the instructions look.
yeah.
So it's quite easy just to stick tape on that bit.
Right, so that's what we'll do with that. We'll take that upon.
And that's the side bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's you can see there's a panel line between the two armoured plates, and the
Yeah,
stripe starts there, and then just put it roughly in middle.
right, okie dokie.
You can see kind of underneath there's a bump,
Mm-hmm.
and it's about 3/4 of the way up there. You can see
Yeah,
that kind of overly kind of shape. You put it roughly, just roughly there, where that
yeah,
look. Just stick it out about 3/4 of the way up there, and then
right. Then we'll be good to go.
yeah. Well, you will be, but I've lost a grab handle. I don't know where it's gone.
What, off the tail?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
must
easy.
admit,
I'll
I
have to
broke
make
one off because I grabbed it and I snapped it and I've had to glue it back on.
Yeah, I don't know where it's gone. So,
And
but
then
yeah,
when I
it's on.
glued it, it fell over. And when I turned round, I found I'd stuck it to the side of the fuselage, lying on its side. So I had to get a scalpel in there then and cut it off and then reattach it.
Oh,
So,
I've done all my rotor blades as well.
oh, very posh.
Well, I had to do a bit of white on the top
Hmm.
yesterday, because of where I'd had to sand it. So I thought, well, I had a bit left, might as well.
Put it in.
Yeah.
Right,
And again,
okay. So, oh,
I use
go
my
on.
little touch of retarder
Hmm.
in the paint, and it's come out lovely.
I must admit, yesterday in here was absolutely killing me. We've got like an oscillating fan, and I did have it in here when I was, because I was doing all the wheels and that for the Chieftain, and I was absolutely sweating. It was so hot, and then it poured it down with rain, and then literally it stopped, and 2 minutes later it's like it never happened because it's that hot, everything just dried up. Anyway, right, okay, so first question is Malcolm Towns. Is that the first question? Yes, okay. He says, this is a question for Steve. Are there any after machine guns? I think he means aftermarket machine guns for World War One tanks, mainly the Meng and Taken ones. I've seen some that. I have seen some that look as though they will fit, but wanted to ask the armour god. Keep up the great work. Hope for a laugh or two today. We've had a few. And think I found the barrels at Lucky Model number LM151. Mal.
Yeah, there's quite a few out there. Just try and remember who, but the ones lucky model ones will fit.
Hmm.
Um, even if they not specifically designed for your kit, it's just a little matter of usually making the hole a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
But there is quite a few on there, and I'm just trying to remember who made them, and I can't remember the name of that company. If it comes to me, I'll let you know. But there is quite a few that came out recently. Well, when all the Meng stuff were coming out, quite a few companies jumped on the bandwagon. I'll try and remember who it was and let you know.
Righto, that'd be fantastic. Okay, right. David Smith says, "Good morning, Phil and Steve. After I bought, a bout of insanity, I purchased the Academy M1151 Hummer and all the EDRPE for it, plus a set of resin sagged wheels. Now I'm looking at the instructions for the kit." And all 4 Edard sets. My question is, does anybody provide a service of combining all the sets into one that covers all? What do you mean, all 4 Edard sets together? Again, I don't think they do the sets for that type of thing, do they, Steve? Do they do the full sets like they do for aircraft, Edard?
Yeah, they do big Ed sets. But I wouldn't know for the Hummer.
Yeah, as I say, I don't know. Some of the times your best bet is to have a look around eBay for sets like that, because you can pick up quite a bit of a bargain, or just go to Edard and click their site, and if they've got them, then look closer to town. Have a look at Hannant's, Creative, people like that who stock all of the Edard sets, and you can have a good look for them. I'm not sure if anybody does the sets for them, but certainly if you were going to be buying the kit from Hannant, you get that drop down thing underneath, so you can look through everything that's available for that kit, which is quite a nice little idea. Also, Phil and Steve, sorry.
I don't know, is he on about something that combines the instructions for the kit and for all four Edard sets? So is that on about basically putting it all onto one? So you've got Academy sheets, but then tells you as you go along where all your Academy.
Oh, right, yeah.
And only way to do that is really before you start your build, just sit down, go through the instructions stage by stage, and then write down which Edard area you need to go to, just make notes and stuff like that, and work it out that way.
I think that's what I used to do, to be honest. When I do bigger stuff like ships and stuff, if I'm using aftermarket sets, I usually go through the instructions, and then when it's an area where it's got the aftermarket, I usually highlight it, and then I'll say what it is and just write a note on it, and then that way you can come along and do it. The similar type of thing for doing this, because there's so much difference in there, but you go through the instructions with that, it's quite straightforward, because you're working on an engine, a cockpit and all the rest of it. But if you're doing something like armour, it's a little bit more confined and in different areas, then yeah, it's definitely well worth having a look through your instructions first, and then just highlight, certainly if you've got parts that are saying in plastic go on, just highlight them so you know it's actually going to be photo etched and stuff like that. But I know what you mean. I think you're talking a bit like if you buy an Edard kit where they've got their instructions in amongst it all with the normal kit build as well. So, it says also, Phil and Steve, how would you guys handle this situation? Oh, sorry. Yeah. To be honest, that's what we would do. We'd mark the sheet, isn't it? The kit instructions with notes to say that's what you want to do. You want to put them in here, there, and everywhere as you make your way through. Okay, that was Dave. I haven't missed one, have I? No, okay, right. Okay, so next one up is Danny. Danny, hi Phil and Steve. As Phil prefers a short question, I'll get to the point. Okay, one, Liquitex have two products, Flow Aid and Slow Dry Fluid Retarder. Which one is the product you recommend? For me, I don't use any of those. I use Flow Improver, which is my one, which is this one here. Takes life in hand pressing things. Come on. Come on. Oh, not again.
Oh, it'll catch up, Phil. Have faith.
Have faith, yeah.
Oh, try again.
Try a different camera. There we go. That's the one I use.
Oh, Flow Improver, yeah. I use Vallejo's, or I've got another bottle. I'll just get it.
Yeah, I must admit, I'd like to try some of that Vallejo stuff, because it's in a little dropper bottle, which would be a lot more easier than this thing.
Well, what I'm thinking of, at least when my Vallejo runs out, I'm going to pour it into that bottle, because them bottles are good. But I use dioramas, is it? Yeah. And their flow enhancer. Go, you can see nicely there.
Yeah.
I also had a gel bit in as good, where the liquid stuff works a treat, and it's amazing. You only need one drop.
Yeah.
If I can just go back to Malcolm's question, I'm just on Hannant's at the moment, and a company called Airbrush that make a lot of aftermarket parts for mainly a lot of armour into it, and back gun barrels for a lot of German stuff as well. They do barrels for the British World War One tank Mark IV male, and it comes with 2 6-pounders and 3 Lewis machine guns to be used with a TACOM, Tamiya, and other kits. So it will,
pretty much.
It will fit
the
Meng. So, and that is ABR 35L155, and for all them barrels for £13.60 is not bad. Now, I know that you probably get a lot of people who argue, well, aftermarket barrels aren't worth it, but to be honest, I think they are. I
Mm.
think, you know, the plastic barrels, you can only go so far with the plastic ones. I don't know, a proper turn barrel,
Yeah, yeah.
especially when you get all the rifling on the inside and the flash break on the end, they just look so much better.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
it's a good way if you go on, if you ever wondering, just go on Hannon's and use their search engine. I just
Mm.
type 1 to 35th and then in keyword Mark 4, and it's come up with page after page. So you will find what you need on there. There's probably
Mm.
more stuff as you look around. So there you
Yeah,
go.
definitely. Very good. So yeah, I must admit we've never used Flow Aid or Slow Dry from Liquitex, but they all roughly do the same thing. I think at the end of the day, all it's going to do is they've got a like an oil or like a linseed oil in there, I assume, that just slows down the drying time. And because it slows it down, you don't get the grittiness. And in hot weather like I've had recently, it just makes your needle more slippery, so it works better. Can you explain the atomize process that happens in an airbrush? Well, atomization, as you know, is literally just making stuff into particles. The way the airbrush works, you know how it works. The paint basically comes up, it goes down the needle where the needle is, okay, it gets to the end, and then you've got air coming in from all around the actual needle area itself. So as the needle's retracted, it lets the paint out. The paint goes down the needle, it's got all of that air and gets pushed off and literally gets atomized. Purely, it's just pressure. Okay, because as the paint's drawn up from your color cup underneath or from the top, either by gravity it's going to flow down anyway, but also there's a vacuum caused because the air pressure is being pushed out over the needle. It causes low pressure, so it sucks through. So it sucks through the paint, it gets pushed off the end of the needle. The needle then is obviously to a point, and because of the air, and there's that much, you know, air pressure in there, that it actually just vaporizes stuff. Okay, so it actually turns it into a mist or a fog. So it's no different from a perfume bottle, or you know, something like in a carburetor on a car, which is actually then turning it into a mist and then igniting it. It's just working the same way. So that's basically all it is. It's just literally air pressure hits it and just atomizes it. Okay, so it's the same way what they do with metals and various things with water jets, that actually hits it, which actually makes it into powder, and you can do it that way. There's loads of stuff on the internet. If you go through YouTube, it will explain it a lot better than I can, but that's basically what's happening. I know you like 148, but 172nd scale planes have challenges that you don't have in 148th. It would be nice to see you do some fast builds in 172nd. I have done the odd 172nd. Big stuff in 172nd. To be honest, I might do the flanker D in 172nd because I've got it down there, and then that way I can test the paints. So I might do that as a quick, literally 1 day build, put it together just to have a go with the new MRP paints or MR paints, and go through the sort of things with those. And also I have got that very nice, talking like Fokker Wolf, so I've got a 190 A5, which everybody tells me is a stunning kit by Edard, their weekend edition in 172nd, a little tiny dinky thing. I thought it'd go quite nicely with that one. Again, but I have got quite a few in my stash now. It's slowly been gathering up. I've got MiG-29s in 172nd. As you say, I've got a lot of Russian stuff in 172nd. I've got some Hunters upstairs, some various bits and pieces. So never say never, Danny. I intend to do various different short, faster builds and things like that to the run up to Christmas. Okay, Ron Dean says, hi guys, I have a quick observation that poses a question. What is it we expect from models? Difficult question. This has come about due to the fact that lately I've been building a couple of really cheap, less than £5 kits that are terrible fit. Terrible. Poor fit, flash, no surface detail, and don't get me started on the instructions. But do you know what these have been more fun than my last Meng hobby builds have been? For example, I challenge anyone to finish a Lindbergh GB Racer. Isn't that the big B looking thing?
I like them. I've always wanted to
Yeah,
build one myself,
yeah,
actually.
that's it. 132nd without a smile on their face. or am I just a glutton for punishment? What are your views? Are we putting too much emphasis on quality models that cost a fortune? After all, Phil says we are modelers. It's what we do. Regards, Ron. To be honest, it's that thing where it's really easy to get sort of caught up with a modern kit that goes together, like Tamiya kits and all the rest of it that just fall together. My problem with them is that, yes, you are a glutton for punishment for going back to the old ones, but there is some still very nice ones out there with some minimal work can be brought up to a certain level. Like re-riveting we were saying recently, or rescribing. But my point to it is, by the time I've spent all that time going around revisiting, rescribing and all the bits and pieces, perhaps some aftermarket inside, a lot of the times you could go out and buy a kit that's probably a bit more up to date and all the rest of it. That said though, if you've got a stash and it's full of kits like that, in some ways it's quite nice to say turn back the clock and have a go at something that's pretty rough. We keep saying about doing a dog of a kit group build, don't we?
We'll get that in next year, definitely.
It's something we want to do. And to be honest, my ones I have got, and a lot of you have mentioned it as well, I've got that Typhoon, or is it the Tempest up there? My first kits, the Matchbox 172nd ones. I'd like to do those, and I'd like to re-rivet them and rescribe them.
Oh, bloody hell, I've got... My day's going from bad to... I've got a bloody wasp now.
You got a wasp in there? This is where Steve gets stung now, and then he goes into shock. Someone call him an ambulance.
Bloody better not get stung. And he bloody hate wasps.
Foaming at the mouth, just squirt it with something.
Downstairs, honest to God, they come in. I opened my window this morning, and within 10 seconds I had a bloody wasp in, and I hate them.
We had a question about, do we think they get attracted by the smells from modelling? Because we always
I don't know.
You go and run.
I'm going to get my wasp spray.
Alright, go get your wasp spray.
Hell.
Look everyone, we can watch him kill poor defenceless insects. Right, I personally would like to have a go at some stuff, but I'm not a glutton for punishment where I would just build something just for the thing of saying, oh, I've done it. I'm not that bad. But there again, there is kits out there that need work, like, something like this. All the added bits we've done to it, it's a modern kit, but the detail's terrible. There's just no quality into it. By replacing the engine and the gun deck, the cockpit you could probably get away with because you can't see much in there. But certainly by re-riveting it, rescribing it, and taking care of some more details, you can bring it up to a certain level, which is really nice. But I'm just looking around my stash, and some of it down in there needs a lot of work to get it up to a good standard. But most of it you could just get away with just sort of out of the box. I've got that MI-17 down there in 135th to go along with my Hind 24. I would like to do that one, but I look at it and I think it's too big a kit not to detail it. It needs some detail in there. So it needs some riveting work, it needs some, some paneling, it needs, detail in total because it's pretty much a shell and things like that. So I'd rather spend my time doing something like that than just going in with a kit from the 70s, which is horrible. Like the old Airfix stuff, the old, ones. Have you got it?
I don't know where it's gone now. It's typical now. Go and get the wasp spray and it's gone.
Well, it was on camera earlier, sort of, waving. It's going to be walking through your paint later.
Everybody knows how I hate wasps. So nobody send a package to Phil's with a bloody big wasp in it, please.
Yeah, that's it. I'll just forward it on. If it's buzzing, it's going to you.
Yeah, a whole wasp nest in a box.
That's it. But as we were saying, the thing is, I've got more satisfaction about updating that kit and putting all those bits into it. I know it's a modern kit, but it's a very basic kit, than probably I have done if it had been a Tamiya. If that had been a Tamiya version of it, which I still think Tamiya should bring them out. They should bring out a 132nd, 109 and 190, just saying. But it's probably given me greater joy, and it's probably on a par with anything Tamiya could release now. And kit-wise, cost-wise, I think I worked it out, it came in at around about 100 quid to do all of that, to that one. So in some ways, it's probably more detailed than you get from Tamiya, and Tamiya will probably charge you over 100 quid for it. So there we go. Steve, how do you think about that? We're talking about, tackling crap kits, really?
Yeah, I don't mind. There's certain kits where you don't mind putting a bit of work in. If a kit's too crap, I think it takes the enjoyment out of building. like a Revel kit, I know I'm going to have to put a bit of work in there to get the best out of it. You don't mind that because you know that's what you're expected to do when you go getting that really nice model out at the end of it. But some of these old ones that are just absolutely terrible, where you have to rescribe and big steps, and you know, it can take the enjoyment out of it. I think a lot of people now want to get a kit where you either got a good basis where you can add to it, or it also looks good straight out of the box, so they can go along, build it. They know they're going to have to do fill and sand it, stuff like that, the basics, but then they can go to the enjoy bit and paint, weather it, and then move on to the next one. I think when it becomes you bogged down in a build, it becomes too much of a chore, you lose interest, and that can then lead you away from the bench. So
yeah, I think that, you know, the point of doing all these kits, if you're, you know, obviously like you are, you got thoroughly enjoyment out of doing your last kit because you've got that sort of self-satisfaction of like, I've beaten it, you know, I've knocked this kit into submission and I've come out on the other side totally victorious with it. I think then, yeah, kudos to you. But if you're in the position where you're like, well, I'm going to do some modelling tonight, but I hate this kit, really you shouldn't be doing it. Get something else on the go, because otherwise you just lose your mojo for it. So I don't think you should ever be a martyr to your kits. You know, don't just build them for the sake of it. You should build it because you enjoy it, because it's a hobby. And there's nothing worse when you're stuck into a kit and it's driving you mad. And I said on one of the news shows recently about if you get caught in it, and I did with that one because it was taking too long. I was frustrated that we weren't making good progress. A lot of that was my own doing, because I didn't have enough time to sit down here and physically push on with it and just get through the boring bits. But as I say, if you are in that thing where, you know, you're thinking, I'm going to do some modelling, but it's like, you know, I can't be bothered, put it to one side, get another kit out and have a go at it. Get a Bandai kit. You know, if you like Steve, you can knock it up in 2 hours. And, you know, you can have a great deal of fun with it, things like that. You know, but I've got kits in here which, not necessarily a bad kit, but for instance, I've got the 130 second scale Wessex helicopter, which technically isn't brilliant. It's pretty much a dog of a kit. It's got lots of detail, but you've got to add a lot more yourself. And I would love to get stuck into it, but it would be a huge project. And at the moment, after doing the big summer build for this one, I'm a little burnt out. I want to get into stuff which I can push on with. And as stupid as it sounds, I spent a good 2.5 hours doing wheels yesterday. Actually really enjoyed it, because you could just get on with it and it was quite fun to do. Whereas when you're doing stuff and it's quite detailed, and you can just lose your mojo a little bit. So it should be fun. Keep it fun. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, I do think you should start your Wessex though.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to have the other one that you don't use, so
right,
I'm going to build that one.
All right, fair enough.
So,
yeah, it is that thing. I'm looking at it now. I'd love to do it because it will look so impressive when it's done.
Yeah,
it's going to look absolutely stunning, but it just needs so much work.
It'd be a build, but then again, you see, you're expecting to put a lot of effort in. And I think you'll get reward back because you know you have to work. You know it's got to be incredible. It's like your aftermarket resin kits. You need to do a bit more work, and it's like with expensive kits in general. You know you have to put more work into it, but you take your time, and you know you're going to end up with an absolutely stunning model at the end of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and you don't mind that, but some kits where it's just awful. Absolutely awful, and you think, well, what's the point? I'm not enjoying it. And
no, it's time to move on. Right, okay, so there we go. Right, next question is by who is that? GG Cal. He says, "Hi, Phil and Steve. Hope your morning started well." Don't go there.
God.
Okay, just a quickie. One, what should I use to clean my airbrush when using Mr. Hobby's metal colours, as in the guns paint? Or should I wipe? Yeah, or his brushes. Sorry, my brushes. Or should I just wipe clean them with a paper cloth and let them dry for using for dry brushing? You've heard me say it. That's what I do. So I actually have. Is that my coffee? Yeah. Oh, bless
God, you beat me to it. I haven't even got one yet.
It has. I have, if I can find it. Thank you, Liam. For a start. What have you done this time?
Just knocked me Gundam figure over onto the keyboard and it pressed the button, but luckily we're on the other screen.
He's just written a Mr. Man book.
Yeah, could have done, but yeah.
Right, okay, so for instance, this is mine. and I was dry brushing all around the top. What I tend to do is I've got a small one somewhere, although I might have cleaned it, which is weird. What I tend to do, there's one. That's it as well. What I tend to do is for mine is I don't clean them. I wipe them out, as I said, on the old paper towel, and then I'll leave them because I find them great for just going around dry brushing. To be honest, this one here, the reason this is here, I went round on the tops of the wings and dry brushed all the riveting just to make it, give it a little bit more sort of pop to them, because unfortunately I've gone a little bit too deep and they've gone a little bit plasticky. So by going over with this, whip round it all, job done, and we were happy campers. But, you know, if you've got too much on there, it's going to rock hard and ruin your brush. But generally, because this is, you know, it's very fine stuff, you should be absolutely fine with it. I don't want to handle it too much because I'll get pigment on me thing.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, personal choice. If you got if you're like Steve and got expensive brushes, I would say clean it. If you're like me and it's like doesn't matter, then you know, then I'd leave them on there because it's quite handy just having it for dry brushing, whipping around cockpits and stuff like that.
Yeah, to clean your brushes, when I've used Mr. Hobby metal colours, use IPA. It shifts everything. You'll be amazed how good IPA is for all stuff like this. I use it to clean out my airbrush as well after been using metal colour paint, Gunsy paint. You know, it's brilliant cleaning. It's great on paint brushes. It really gets all crap out.
Yeah.
But I'd also, like, this is alcohol brush cleaner, but it's got other stuff in it, the Vallejo stuff that we got sent.
Yeah, yeah.
This and the Restore is absolutely fantastic, and I recommend get yourself, if you've got some decent brushes, just get some of these. You don't have to use it all the time, but every other, you know, maybe once a week, give your brushes a good clean, and they'll last a lot longer.
Yeah.
But you can the Restore as well. I've got some. Did have some other stuff somewhere.
Yeah, well, I've got this magic potion crap, which is basically like linseed oil, I reckon.
Yeah,
It even smells like it as well. But this is the ABT 117. It's the 502 oils. It's the brush restorer stuff for it. But it's horrible because it goes for miles. But I must admit, as you know, I'm not a Series 7 user. I'm a disposable user. So when mine have had a bit, I just bin them. Has he got one?
If you remember, I've been trying the alternative.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah.
By the Rosemary and Company. Now this needs cleaning, actually, because I've just been using it with oils. But I've been using this one since I bought them a couple of months ago. It's still fine, perfectly fine, and they're really, really good. And I've used it for everything. It's had oils, normal acrylics. You know, and whenever you're talking of oil paints, you know, enamel washes, everything can throw at it, and it holds its shape really well. It's not too happy if you put too much paint on, you know, when it really liquidy paint, paint. But if you just use the tip, don't go above halfway, it'll work a treat. And I've got quite a few of them. I'm glad I bought them, and I think they're at least £3 cheaper. So yeah, Rosemary and Company.
Cool.
Should get. I'm available for sponsorship.
Yeah, you'll sell
Phil
himself
might
out
not,
to
but
anyone.
no,
No,
he would,
I won't. He will sell himself to anyone. He will.
Look, there's a nice space on my wall there. Just put your logo
all
on.
my stuff gets removed. Flory goes, and he'll have like Rosemary and Company.
But no,
everywhere.
Yeah, because I did say I'd let people know how we're getting on with it, and like I said, I've just used the one brush continuously just to see. The Series 33, and they're the same kind of bristles, but I think with good brushes, it's how it's been assembled.
Yeah.
You know, you can get other cheap brushes with Kolinsky Sable, which is a type of bristle.
Yeah.
But it's all how they assemble it as to how good your point is. And these are all hand assembled apparently, but yeah, well worth getting. And the delivery was superb as well, so yeah, I'd recommend them.
Cool. Okie dokie. Right, Neil says, hi Phil and Steve. Looking at the worn out MiG-21 view, I'm wondering when, if you are planning to build a very heavily weathered or damaged aircraft. I've seen lots of stuff on how to weather up to a point, but I don't recall you making a kit of a crashed or damaged aircraft. I'll be honest with you, it's not really my thing. I don't like over-weathered stuff. Don't get me wrong, I think it's very clever, the guys who do it, but if I'm going to build an aircraft, I want it to look like it could fly, not like dead and just sat in a field and, or, as you say, like that museum one we were looking at. I'll put it away now, have I? Somewhere, whatever I've done with it. The one yesterday's review. I don't know, it's just personal preference, I suppose. It's not my thing. I don't get excited over it. I think it's very clever and I love the techniques, don't get me wrong. It's just it's not my type of thing at all. I prefer to do stuff that is usable. I like it to be worn, don't get me wrong. I don't like factory fresh, but I'd never go that far to do sort of these worn out, chucked to hell, sort of sat in a field for 20 years look alike. To be honest, that review we did, where is it anyway? I don't even know what I've done with it now. It's a bit weird actually, it disappeared on me. But yeah, it's so the MiG we did in yesterday's review, you could have it, and they'd even included resin flat tyres, which I didn't think the detail was that brilliant on really, because you could just sand them to the hub and leave it down there. It's not like they had all tyre pushed out the side. It had a little bit, but nothing tons of it. But again, it wouldn't be my type of one I would build. I wouldn't go in to do that. But as I say, it would be nice to do those techniques. But the techniques are pretty standard because it's just going weathering, but just going a lot further with it than you normally would. But in my mind, I always have this little conscience that says you've gone too far. Like even doing this one, when I was doing the underside and the bits and pieces with it, it was a case of that looks really grimy and horrible, and yet my conscience is saying to me, stop. You're going to overdo it. It's going to look like it's a wreck or a relic or something. So at that point, I'm like, okay, I'll stop now, and I won't go any further. Steve, what is your opinion?
Yeah, so I don't mind worn out stuff. It can look good. Done right, it looks good. Done wrong, it's awful. It's a technique that if you're good at it, your models don't look good. But it's a hard. It's hard one to judge into. I'd rather see an aircraft that is heavily weathered in service rather than being abandoned.
Yeah,
that's my preference. But thinking fuel is a bit of a compromise. You could try. Have you thought about doing one of the Japanese Zeros or something where it's
faded back? Yeah.
Well, not even faded, where all paint's come off it and you can see all aluminium. They look really cool actually. And you can really muck and grime it as though it's been out in, on a Pacific island, sandblasted, dusty. That'd look quite good for you.
Yeah.
And if you get the time you want it, add to along with your Spitfire and your Mustang.
Oh right, so I'm making my way my 132nd collection.
Yeah. But I just think that'd be a nice one for you to do, a good compromise, and you can show quite a few techniques on that.
Yeah, it is. A lot of it is, don't forget, when you're doing sort of, heavy on weathering, unless you're starting to add moss and grass coming out of it, which is something a little bit different, that's more sort of diorama work, but you're just going to carry on with what you're doing, but further. So chipping, instead of it just being scuffing and light stuff, you're right the way down to bare metal in places and things like that. And again, with griming and streaking, where I try and keep it quite subtle, so it's just an effect that's amongst it all, you're just going to bring it out even further and go right the way through it. So, but as I said, I'm very much a case of I prefer my stuff to look like it could be used rather than the abandoned look. But as I say, I think the guys who do it do a fantastic job with it, but it's not my type of thing. It's not what I'm into really at the end of the day.
Do you also agree that when you do an abandoned looking plane, you've got to put it on a base to bring it all into context? You just build an abandoned thing, and say, there you go. No, it don't look right. You need to have it on the base where you can see the decay around it, the grass coming through. It's on concrete where the grass comes through any cracks, and
definitely.
Bits like
absolutely.
That.
It is. You do need to set the scene. I think one of the best ones I saw years ago, because like everything, things come in fashion, and weathering now, because of like the weathering magazines and all stuff like that, it's taken it up to a new genre. It's almost like completely separate now because they have their own techniques and ways of doing it. Okay, but the thing is, the first one I saw, which probably would have been, 5-6 years ago, do you remember the Lightning that had been abandoned? And somebody had done it where it was sat back on its arse and it had the graffiti on it and all the rest of it. It was done on a diorama. It was at Telford, and it was on show in the actual competition area. It looked stunning, and it was the first time that I'd seen an aircraft being turned into that, yeah, the armour guys have been doing it for years. Yeah, you get blown up tanks and the various things sat there, and they'll have like a normal tank next to it or something. That pretty much is standard, but it's the first time I'd seen an aircraft done like it nicely. From my point of view, it's the first time I'd seen one done properly that you could actually get right into and think that looks spot on. But now, over the last 5 years, it's sort of gained in popularity, and you know, no disrespect to the weathering companies out there, but obviously they're selling products now, so they've brought out millions of different colours and shades of everything to do this type of effect. So they've got magazines to sell it and people to sell it and everything else like that, because it's an industry now and it's a new genre that people have got into. But from my personal point of view, it's not something I'm particularly into. But don't get me wrong, I appreciate the guys who do it, and as I say, that lightning is probably still one of the finest bits I've ever seen done, you know, and all the rest of it. So from that point of view, you know, fair play to those who like doing that. And let's face it, I always say you could knock up a model in days and just then spend all the time painting and weathering, because you don't have to make a nice job of it, because most of it's going to be hidden under a ton of weathering. So it's not like you need to have an aircraft with every seam's got to be perfect and everything else, because if it's like, you know, hanging apart, it doesn't matter. So as long as all the seams on show are okay, the rest of it is in material. Like if you're going to have the cockpit closed and fogged up and all the rest of it, then, you know, you don't even have to worry about cockpits and stuff. So you could actually spend more time doing painting and weathering than you would do the building work perhaps and stuff like that. He also says, I noticed you had a 148 TSR2 in your stash, so do you have any plans on making it? Also, what are your thoughts on the Airfix 148 scale Meteor? I'm tempted to get it, but I know Airfix can be a little hit or miss. Okay, TSR2, to be honest, I've had that since the week they released it. When it first came out, purely because I bought that one and I had a couple of the 172nd ones as well. I would love to do it, but again, it's just getting around to doing it. It's not the happiest of kits, shall we say. It's not one of Airfix's best, but definitely one that I'd love to do, purely because it's that sort of what if type thing, what could have been. You know, I think it's one of those things, being British, we love and hype things. It could have been crap, but from what you read, it would have been fantastic aircraft, but unfortunately we'll never know. But it's one of those things, for a point of view, if you're doing your sort of mini museum, I think it's one of those aircraft you need to have in it. Never say never, one day I will get round to it. Pretty much all the stash you see in here now is stuff I want to build, so I intend to get on with it a lot this year and next year. As for the Meteor, to be honest, I've had two of those kits here that should have been for review, but people have done a bunk with them, so I haven't even got them to review. But I've had two come in here since it got released, and both of them people have had off of me. So it's like, I will get another one back into review. From what I can tell though, the guys who've built it do seem to say it's pretty much a hit. Don't they, Steve? Have you heard anything different?
I haven't heard anything about it, but it's something I wouldn't mind building.
A couple of guys on the forum have done it, haven't they? You've seen them on the forum. So, you know, say, have a good word with the guys on the forum who've built it. I haven't built it, so, you know, we'd have to see on that. I will say here, I have got a plan in my mind, and I keep being asked to do it. But it's just that thing of expense. But people have often asked me, would it be possible to buy a kit and review it and just put it together? Don't paint it, just to see if it could do it. And then, you know, and I'm thinking it might be a little thing just to see how things fit together and how good they are. And then afterwards paint it as a whole. You know, so as you say, you'd have to do cockpits and things like that, but just build it and then afterwards paint it. But with aircraft, you tend to do sub-assemblies. But if it's just for an overall effect, then it may be something we could look at next year doing. Oh, right, okay. Right, Dave says, hi Phil and Steve, I'm just about to prime my Tamiya 132nd scale Mosquito ready for the Operation Jericho colours. I've seen other models priming this kit using the black or very dark primer. My usual choice of primer is Vallejo Grey primer. Can you tell me what benefits would be in priming this aircraft in black? P.S. Thanks again for all the work you do, sterling work you do. Well, again, we're into this thing of black basing. It seems to have come back in fashion. It's something that used to happen a lot in the 70s and 80s. And basically, instead of pre-shading, and going through, so you do your grey and perhaps you pre-shade and come through that way. By black basing, you just put down black and then you lighten up the colours via mottling, and that's how it goes. I'm not going to get into an argument over it, but I don't do it. I don't particularly like it, but you guys love it. So if you love it, it's what I always say to you. You can't tell people how to do stuff. It's what works best for you. So in some ways, it might be worth giving it a go and seeing how you do it. But basically, by having a black base down, you lighten up. Okay, so instead of darkening, you lighten. So everything you do on there, you're going to lighten the paint slightly, and you sort of mottle it in to give a more worn over look. Personally, like doing something like this, I think it's a waste of time, because yes, you could have got the mottle effect in there, but if you watch the video on that, you'll see I just did a squiggly pattern over the wings. It took me 30 seconds of squiggles, and it was job done. It's just a personal choice way. I know a lot of guys love it, they get a better effect for it, but like I say, with all this hobby, whatever works best for you is what you should do. Steve, black basing? Yes, no? Indifferent?
No, not for me. I've tried it on armour using dark brown, and no, I prefer doing it post shading, especially on armour aircraft. I'll do a bit of pre-shading, but again, I prefer doing quite a lot of post shading.
Because I must admit, I had a guy speak to me a couple of months ago about it when it first came up, and it seemed to be becoming vogue again. Like I said, the trouble is that he was a novice to airbrushing as well. So as I said, the trouble you can have with it is that once that black base is down and you come in with your paint, if you overdo it, you've lost it. So you've got to go back in and post do it anyway. At least if you're doing it grey first, you put some pre-shade in. If you lose it, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, if you've done all that work with the black base and you've lost it, you've got to go in again, you know, and various things. So in some ways, I think it's just, if you're starting out, easier to do a pre-shade, because you can't really go wrong with pre-shading. So if it looks crap, you just go deeper colour over the top of it. But if you're going to go the other way, it's very easy to go over the top. And I have watched videos of guys who look like they're doing a fantastic job, and in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, they've put too much paint onto it and it's gone, because then they turn around at the end and go, oh, it doesn't look fantastic, and I'm thinking, I can't see it anymore, it's gone, you've gone too far with it. You need to lighten it up. Again, I think if you're going to be doing heavy weathering, then perhaps black basing is the way to go. But if you're doing subtle weathering, I think pre-shading with greys, yeah, go in with your grey primer, pre-shade with some black on there, and away you go and do it that way. Okay, so if we do this as our last question and then we can get on. So Stephen Robbins says, hi Phil and Steve, I'm in the market for some new paintbrushes. Oh, Steve will sell you some, he's on commission. Although I've been airbrushing the main paintwork of the models, would you advise me on what sizes and shapes of brushes I should get for detailing the model? I'd be using the brushes for painting aircraft armour, decaling and applying washes and streaking, etc. Best regards, Stephen Roberts. So Steve will now sell you from a company who we've only heard of a few moments ago.
And I've got yeah, I'll just give you an idea of the sizes I've got.
Right, you do that, I'll get my stash out of paintbrushes.
Yeah, I've got a 3-0 is the smallest I'll go to. Because below that you don't need it. As long as you've got a good point on your brush, you don't need to get these 10-0. And then I go up to, for round brushes, I'll go up to a number 4, which is quite, obviously, see, where's the 3? So you can see the size difference there.
Hold on, let me put you on big screen.
Just come that way, put my hand behind it. So you can see there, size 4 is the biggest, and that's a 3-0. So, and then I've got a range in between. I don't go the wrong way there. I always go the wrong way with this. So that's them. And then for streaking, stuff like that, you really need flat brushes. And again, I'll tell you what size I go up to. The biggest I've got is a size 8. So I'd recommend if you get a 2, 4, 6, 8, who do we appreciate? Have to get that in. You'll be all right. Again, with your round brushes, you want to try and get Kolinsky sable bristles. They're the best ones you can get, and you'll notice the quality difference and how the point holds itself will last a lot longer. As well, for your flat brushes, I'd try and get a sable one as well. You can use synthé, but I think sable they're softer, and they just give a better for blending and streaking, I find. And then as a luxury, I do have these which are really good. By Wall Gamer, I forget who makes them. Got any things rubbed off. The Armoured Painter, and they do a series where you can just cut a normal flat brush at an angle, but they're a special dry brushing brush, and because it's got an angle, it actually works really, really well. I suppose you can do that with a flat brush. Just cut your bristles with sharp pair of scissors at an angle, and that's the sort of brushes I use. I have got myself one of these large fan brushes just to, because like after I put oil paints on, just to give it a little soften everything. And I've got one of them to try. I haven't used it yet. Never used one before. It looks a bit daft, but
well, as long as you're in touch with your feminine side.
Yeah. I do have a lot of cheap brushes which I use for, like when I'm doing the hairspray effect using chipping fluids. I've got some really coarse bristles because they're really good at scuffing up the surface and stuff like that. That tends to be my collection, really.
Well, speaking of cheap brushes and all the rest of it, I use cheap brushes. So this is my little section. God help us, try that. Is it going to come online? Why is that camera not coming online? We've got all the other cameras, but apparently not that one.
Just do like I did last time. There you go.
Yeah, that's all right. So, for some reason my big overhead cam. So these are the ones I tend to use for general washes and stuff like that, and that is a number 6. These are synthetic. I think they're the best for washes because it really doesn't care. Okay, so it's just like hard, and I must admit I tend to buy in bulk, hence we've got them here. I've also got them naught as a synthetic. These are just cheapy ones. These are creative ones, but I do have some red Kalinsky red sable ones as well as a naught. I must admit I don't go any smaller than a naught with me. I tend to use a cocktail stick if I'm going down that route, or I use these, which isn't all the time, but these are the tiny little, I don't know, they call them micro brushes, but actually these are super glue Airbrush applicators, which are so much cheaper, because these little things here, I don't know why the other overhead isn't working, I must admit, a bit worrying that, but this is my, these are other ones, you got them here. These are little tiny things. If you look online and you actually go on eBay and buy them as Airbrush glue applicators, you can pick up like 1,000 or something for a £5, because actually they also call them micro brushes, but it will charge you something like £5 for 10, but it's the same thing, okay? But they're really, really nice, no problem with those at all. But with me, I must admit, Steve has sent me, but I'm still not overly convinced with it all. Purely because I am bad, I am terrible, I am an animal when it comes to brushes. Pretty much I don't clean them, they get a rub out, I dip them in horrible cleaners and things like that just to get them going, and then away we go, so to speak. So from that point of view I can't really comment or sort of advise on brush painting as such, because I am definitely not the best one out there to do that.
Well, to give you an idea, one of my Winsor Newton Series 7, if I'd have bought the creative, I used to buy them ones, them red Kalinsky ones, and I'd probably go through 3-4 creative. My Winsor Newton's still going strong.
Yeah, that's right. You do pay for what you get with all these things, and the quality of the number 7 one, which I still have it here.
It's how the assembly, like I say, it's all in the assembler, as how well it holds its point.
Yeah.
Like I say, if you take care with your brushes, get some really decent ones, because they'll be cost effective and outlast all the cheap ones. So
I've got one somewhere, honest.
I'm going to pinch it back next time I come down.
Oh god, I better clean it. I find it actually.
Well, that's it. Somebody else. I bet John's taking it home with him.
Yeah, I bet somebody's liberated it. Oh no, actually I think it's over here because it's separate. Yes, there it is. It's actually because I keep it separate, and it still has a beautiful little point on it. Okay, so that's all right. I do keep it separate because I'm terrified about using it.
But you see, again, with it having such a fine point, you don't need these small 10-0 single hair brushes.
Yeah.
For our hobby, you don't need them.
No, and especially if you're using acrylic paints,
No.
they tend to be too thick and gooey. They tend to grab too much, and it's like all or nothing. So it's not like where you've got like an oil or something, and it generally is just releasing time after time. Ours are a little bit different.
And like we said before, try and use model colour paint. Just get yourself a selection of the sort of colours you do in a cockpit. Because it being a thicker paint, when you apply it, it don't run off everywhere like Tamiya. And it is designed for brushing as well. It's a lot easier to brush.
Yeah,
Little
definitely.
drop of retarder in there, and it's beautiful.
Cool, absolutely. Right, should we do some work then?
Yeah, you got to mask yours up.
I'm going to mask mine up now. Let me just grab my lead. If it will let me go, I've got to get my box. Let me just move Buster and Co. Let me sit there. Oh. Right, we're going to need that. And we're going to need that. Yeah, go back in. Right, okay. So, let me just find out what's... right, I found the problem, I think, with my overhead camera. Let me just try it again. No? Yes, we have. There we go. Sorry, we had a cable hanging out. When I was obviously panicking earlier to try and sort this out, I had a cable hanging out. Right, okay, so that's me. That's where the other one doesn't come back on now. No, it's alright. Look, have faith in all of this. Okay. So, yes, right. There's our paint. That's those bits. That's those bits. Right. I think all the lumps and bumps are on now, aren't they? We don't need to add anything to it.
No, we don't, no. Oh, well, yeah, little wiper blades and stuff like that, but no, it's just masking. Your stripe needs to be 23 millimeters.
Now, is that 23 millimeters at the top or in the middle?
Across, that's, where's my instruction sheet?
Don't forget, as it joins the top.
No, it tells you actually on here.
And I'll have to check it against my... So...
That's the white part. The white band is 23 millimeters.
Right. That's 15, 21, 22, 23. Let me check it against the kit decals. Quality items that they are. Is that the white bit or with the red?
Just the white part.
Just the white part. They're giving here theirs as... I suppose you do corner to corner. Yeah, it is 23.
Yeah.
So, hey, look. They've done it right. Okay, so 23. From the top, we're going to go from the centre panel line.
Yeah, there's a panel line. Can you see the panel line that goes up either side?
Yeah.
In between the armour plates.
Yeah.
The top corner that starts there, and then it goes to about 3/4 of the way up that mark. I did mine below.
Okay.
So I don't know if you'll do it this way. The way I found easiest is I just got a piece of tape, put it up against that top of the panel line, and then took it the right way down to the mark underneath, and then masked off the white stripe.
Right.
And then obviously cut my tape 23 mil and pulled it round.
Right, okay, so that one's going to go to there, which is right at the back of that one. Okay. Okay, let's put the overhead on. Hopefully it'll work.
That Phantom Tea Lady's been a bit crap today.
Yeah, I don't know, I'll give her the boot.
I'm going to ring her up.
Yeah, ring her up. I think Liam just comes over now to use the VR. For using the old...
Doesn't surprise me, you know, it does look good fun. But I watched a video this guy, he must have been in his 70s trying it out.
Yeah.
There were all these zombies come towards him, and he had obviously the controllers, but instead of firing, he were using it and punching them.
Yeah.
And he were kicking back, honest to God, he loving it. And we're really getting into some uppercuts and swings, and it was so funny.
I must admit, the really weird thing is, it's like, if you've never had a VR experience, a proper one, because a lot of people think it's the same as like 3D TV, and it's not. That's the thing. It's not like you would do your TV or anything else like that, because it's just all immersive, and it's the way you can look round the corner.
Yeah.
Which is obviously something you can't do when you're, if you watch a 3D film. To be honest, one of the things I bought the other day it's called the Apollo 11 experience. So you actually go through everything in the mission from takeoff, obviously landing on the moon, and everything in between, and it's about a 45-minute thing, I suppose. And you can watch it on YouTube, but actually when you're there, it's weird because you can actually look at the buttons and move your head and look round things. And there's one scene with a pen and it flies past you because it's weightless, and it's like really, really weird.
Well, your 3D TVs, it's just adding depth.
Yeah.
To your TV, it's not like you say, you can't look round stuff, and if you would try looking around back, you know what I mean? It's
doesn't
you get more immersed, don't you? You're fully immersed into the.
And the funny thing is, obviously, when you take the headset off, normally you're not where you thought you were. So in the room, it's like, I thought I was over there and looking that way. It's like, no, actually. Right. Okay. So we're just going to take him back up to that panel line.
See, you make it look so much easier to me.
These armour plates are crap, aren't they? Because they get right in the way of everything.
Yeah.
Big tip, always cut in the middle. Don't start at one end because you drag it. So I always, when I'm doing any type of cutting on a raised surface, you just start at a higher point.
You see, I use a cocktail stick there, just to push it into all the.
Yeah. I must admit, I usually use the back of the blade.
Yeah. See, there's so many different little techniques. Everyone's got their own way.
Everyone's got their own way of doing it, yeah.
But,
Right, one. Right, then we want 23mm. I've already done it on one side. I've put a mark in the paint.
I just use, as infinite cutting board.
Yeah.
That works a treat because we haven't got any masking tape. So I do mine different. I cut the 23mm piece of tape, from the wide, and then just pull the tape down, and then.
Do you know what though? I've made that usual schoolboy error. I've done to the outside, not the inside. So scrap that. Because I've done it as if I'm going to spray the white in instead of masking the white. So that's my error.
Well, if you leave your tape there, Phil.
Well, I use it as a mask to,
Now you know where to start your band. So if you put 23mm, put it on the inside, and then you've got that line correct then.
Right, okay.
The outward edge, that's how
Forward, 30mm tape, 40mm tape. D. Right, okay, so here we go. Come here, you little bugger. Right. So this time I'm going to try and line it up with a line, which is what we didn't do last time, so it didn't.
Oh, I was hopeless. When I was cutting circle on my knife, it just kept slipping. I think I need to change the point over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bent. That's probably why it wasn't working.
I'm going to probably make it just a fraction wider, and the reason I'm doing that is that way because it will follow the panel line. Or I hope. Okay. So thinking.
The blade's got to be fun because there's no measurements at all, unless there is on the trumpeter instructions. Which,
Sorry, for the what?
you know, for the rotor blades, I'm asking them.
Yeah.
They're got to be fun. Can't find my colour call out. No, I don't have it on there either.
See, I think we're going to have to, let me just drop this one because I can see where it's going better than this.
So it's for the same size.
See, because of the complex curve on this, I'm more inclined to...
I didn't do it all the way right, I just did it. Well, you could use the tape that you've cut as a spacer as well.
Yeah.
It's different ways. But if it comes to it, we'll just have to spray it white again. Touch the white up. We don't want right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's got to be fun, that, working all that out.
Okay, well, so far so good because it marries up to what we hoped for. Okay. Okay, so we do it from the underside, we can bring it up. Amazingly, I think it's going to work. Just need to
About 24 mil. I think the gaps for the thing are about 24 mil.
Well, for the rotors.
Yeah, ish. I think if you go for that, it'll probably put us about good put us about right, but we'll get the orange done before we even tackle that.
Yeah.
Oh, just a drop of a teaspoon into a mug. A coffee lid go. That's a good sound. Going to the Driffield Model Show.
All right.
The 4th.
Fair enough.
So if anybody's going there, say hello if you see us. It's always nice meeting, fellow Floryites.
Floryites. Okay.
Surprising actually, I usually bump into quite a few.
Hmm.
But all the guys from the FOB are going, so there's got to be 6 of us, I think. 7 of us going.
Cool beans. One thing I do mention is somebody was on about pin badges for Telford. So after a little bit of a thought and talking to a few people, what we're planning on doing is that said thing. We're going to try and do like a lapel badge, something a little bit nice. So it will be probably our giveaway for Telford. Normally every year we give a little something away for the members. So if you are a member, we'll do the usual thing. If you pop along, we'll give you a little lapel badge, a very nice one. Still designing it in the bits and pieces. But it'd be like, just like a pin badge, not like one of those metal pin badges we had before, a very nice one that you can actually wear, that everybody then can identify who you are. Obviously, it's going to be like 12 inches across, so it's like an advert. No, it won't. It'll be something quite small and bespoke.
You mean it's a sandwich board, don't you?
Yeah, it's like a sandwich board, really, that says, we're in Hall 2, a normal spot. But we do intend to do something else like that as a little bit of a freebie for the members and all the bits.
Yeah, you'll have to do kind of a printout. Again, can you remember that? Yeah, you did a printout just to make sure people said they were.
So yeah, we will be doing definitely something like that again.
Hey, yo. If you look there.
Oh, look.
It's my nephew, Carter.
Oh,
you are now broadcasting all over the world. This is going out live. So you're a telestar now in America. People in America are watching. In Australia.
What about England?
England. All over the world, there's people watching.
Hi.
So you now look famous. It goes out on YouTube. So you're on YouTube. So in a few years, when you get good at modelling, you'll have to take my chair. And you'll have to do it.
What do you mean in a few years?
Yeah, well, it's probably better now, actually. So there you go. That's my nephew, Carter.
Well done, Carter. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Get him in the hobby.
Sorry, you've only been on YouTube. They're broken. I knocked them all on the floor earlier.
You make very good models.
Thank you.
How much did you pay him?
I didn't pay him anything. Bless him.
Bless. Right, okay.
He probably don't believe me. He's gone out all over the world now.
Yeah, you have to send him the tape.
Yeah. Oh well, we'll have to get that bit. But yeah.
Why am I messing around with this? Hold on, I've got a better way of doing this.
I did say I'll build a model with him at one stage.
Yeah, which they'll hold you that forever. Kids have this habit.
But I need to get him a nice little, an easy to put together model of something he likes, and then he can just sit there and glue it together.
Tabia.
No, I don't know. Some for kids. One of these little starter things, or
the unbuildable ones.
Yeah, them ones.
Yeah, the one designed for kids. The ones that are designed for badgering your parents to.
Right, I'll just double check mine's all set, and then we can get spraying, which will be fun. I'll probably get attacked again.
Yeah, your wasp will be back. Has he not come back?
No, there must. Well, apparently these is it within wasp travel. Is it up to something like 800 meters? Is the furthest to where the nest will be? A small 300.
Oh, right.
Some it's not that far. So there has to be a nest somewhere nearby.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But usually, because I've got obviously 2 Velux windows, and they just fly in and pest you, and then go off again.
Righto. I like wasps, one of those useless insects that are good for nothing, apart from annoying people.
Well, isn't it only female wasps that are vicious?
Oh, was
They'll
that?
sting you, yeah. It might be wrong. It might be the female bee, but one of either bees or wasps, only the females get you, which explains.
Yeah, it's a woman thing.
You know, it is in nature. It's the women are always the evil.
Yeah, they either eat you, sting you,
Yeah,
and as humans, they take all your money.
yeah. Right, where's my scissors?
So I can say it, she's at work.
That's one. That's an idea. I think I might have an extending cable for the earpiece. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I've got an extending cable, but mine is like 70 meters, so it's a bit overkill.
I'll have to have a look.
It was one of them things on eBay. Oh, that's cheap, that'll do, we'll have that.
I've got quite a good one. If it's still in here, it might be in the box of accessories. I bet it is.
When I had my clearer, I have now one, and it's called cables, and that's all it is all my USB cables. Everything I've ever needed as a cable is now in one box.
No, it's for my posh Bose Vos, as they pronounce it. You know, these noise cancelling headphones.
Yeah. Your posh ones.
Yeah. They're really good, actually. Music sounds amazing, and they really do cancel out. That's not going to stretch that far. I'll have to swap ears.
What about the white stripe that runs down the side of it? Are we doing that?
Which white stripe?
There's a white stripe on mine that goes underneath all the doors from the nose to the back end.
Oh, that one. I think I've got a decal for that. Yeah, I have got
a decal, but I'm just thinking that's a nightmare. Oh yeah, definitely. It's just that it's going to run right over the. Does it go top of the doors or under the doors? It looks like it's all over the place.
Yeah, I'll put the decal on, I think. Because to mask that nicely has got to be a pain.
Have I got a bit missing? Surely there should be a bit of something there. Looks like I've got a gap.
Where are you looking?
I'm right here. I've got 2 holes.
Oh, you mean that big section there? Oh no, you've got that. Oh yeah, no, there's a little loop there. There's a little foot. Don't know if you can see on mine. There's a little loop.
Oh right. Oh, okay. Let me. Oh, I can put that on afterwards.
Yeah.
I'll stick him on afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering about sticking a thin bit of white tape, because that channel goes down in the white, goes in this channel, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to use the decal. I just think faffing around with a thin bit of white tape, I don't think. To be honest, I need some new thin, really thin tape. Try it, Phil. You go for that, and I'll try decal.
Right. Okay. Because that's the same as on there. Okay. Let's give it a whirl. What can go wrong?
Well, on today's track record, all sorts could go wrong.
Yeah, that's it. Right, let's hang this off on the front.
Just using the old Tammy static brush.
Oh yeah.
Just for a dust. They're
off.
absolutely brilliant.
Mm.
It's because of the long thin bristles, like. Even though I did, what did I spill? I think I spilled some fizzy drink on it or something ages ago. On it. But it's still quite robust. It's got a little scrubber, another little tougher brush at other end.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're really good if you ever see, or any kind of little anti-static brush like that. I know you've got one, haven't you?
Yeah.
They're just ideal for just getting that final bit of dust off your model before you start. And then we're off with orange. Oh no. Worst thing is I haven't done a gloss coat in ages. Oh.
Yeah, it's one of those things now. I don't worry so much about this colour. It will be the
Are you using
after.
Are you using the acrylic?
Well, I'm going to look
Because
at
I've
my
got
paint chip, because don't forget, mine are two different colours. So I'm going to go to the closest one to me paint chip, which to
I
be
reckon
honest is this one, which is... Which
Enamel.
one was this? Is the enamel. The enamel looks better. This one looks more browny.
Yeah, it's got more of a kind of. But if Eric don't mind, he sent me loads of reference pictures of this
Right.
helicopter through Facebook. If you don't mind, I'll stick them up on the forum. But obviously, it's entirely up to him if he'll allow us. But I don't think he knows how to bulk upload and
right,
do
okay.
loads at once. Because there's a quick way in the way you just click in edit and it generates code from all.
Yeah.
It'll help out just for them finishing touches. Don't forget there's that little bit of photo etch as well, Phil.
Yeah, I must admit, I haven't put that on yet.
And that's orange by the look of it.
Mm-hmm.
But while you do that, Phil, I'll just... If people can still see, there's the old Gundam figures coming on nice. It's like
Very
a kind
good.
of a winter grime. It needs to go that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of a winter grime wash on it. So it's getting there, and it makes it stand out a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, you can see that all. So that's looking taken apart, and I've got this. I'll be using this product for the first time, which is Precision Snow and Ice.
Oh, very posh. Definitely.
Which, to be honest, it's brilliant. The guy, when we first bought it off him, he was really kind. Got it at Telford, and we all bought some, and he was really generous. He gave us free. He did us a good deal on the resupplies, but basically, I'll show you the kit while I'm. Right, oh, I love this little thing. Right, in the kit, comes like that. You get two types of snow,
Yeah.
two thicknesses, in these little. They're really not quite like nice little pots to keep your product in. And then you get
A sieve.
a microsieve, yeah. Now what apparently you do is, if I remember correctly, I'll have to watch some videos on it. You take either hairspray or that aerosol spray adhesive,
Yeah.
and you spray that at the model, the angle which way you want the snow to hit the figure.
Right.
So I'm thinking if I'm wanting to do it walking into a blizzard, so I'm going to spray kind of down that direction.
Yeah.
Onto his, so yeah, you can see that. So it's coming down that way. So I'll spray the stuff down here, and then when I'm shape the product over him, it's only got to stick
On that side.
onto the bits where the spray is, and then you can brush it off. Just blow off the excess, and it'll have it stuck in all the correct places.
Mm-hmm.
Correct, to make it look realistic, and then obviously put some on the ground. So you can also get these really good bags, refill bags as well.
Yeah.
The thing I liked about this, it looks the best snow product I've seen. Because a lot of it just don't look right. It looks like someone's put shaving foam on the board, or it's too crystallised. Like,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
where this stuff at first it really convinced me. So, and you can even when you put it down, like I say, I'm gonna have to just figure out how to do it again. But you can put footprints and stuff like that, and it'll stay that way. And you can just gradually build it up. So, and to go with that, I bought this stuff as well, which is Crycell ice,
Oh.
which
Is that
is
like
for
a sheet
making
of ice?
ice, basically ice. You know, like puddles where the frozen water, and this comes in different colours. You get it in a white, or you can get green as well. Depending on what kind of. You have to be careful with this. I can only use it. It comes in this kind of sheet like this, and when it cracks just like ice. So you've already got that icy
look
to it. Yeah, it's amazing stuff. Cool. So you just crack it as you need it, and don't know what it's made of or what kind of. Oh, my camera's struggling because of reflection into it.
Yeah, that's it.
You can just see there, folded there, the reflection. So I just thought I'd have his kind of his foot stood on it, so it's cracking, and do it that way. So I'm going to have fun. But I know ages ago somebody asked if we'd ever tried it, didn't they, on a live show?
That's right, yeah.
And I said I'd try it, so I might use it obviously with this figure, but I've also, I think I've showed it you before, I've got my little tack-on kit that I put together, and it comes with various attachments.
Oh, that's right, your thingy.
Yeah, you can have it as a forklift or else, but
right.
I've got a little plough to go in front of mine that's in the up position, but I might just have it ploughing as though it's just going along road after doing a bit of ploughing or something. You know, so why not? A nice little kit, actually, really detailed. You can pick them up really cheap now. So watch this space. I'll like I say, I've got a load of photos of how I've built this and throughout the stage, so I'll have to get it all up and show you how I do the snow and ice. I think might be interesting for a few people to see.
Cool. Be nice to see, as you say, something a little bit different, like doing snow and ice and all those different bits and pieces, as I say, you don't normally see.
And here you go, Phil. Just that's how the old air wings looking.
Oh, very nice.
Got a bit of,
did you repaint it?
Yeah, it's all been repainted and it's had some oil wash on it. Not oil, enamel wash, just to give it that really grimy, rubby look.
What colour did you use for the brown?
I used, it was Mr. Hobby Colour Gunsy acrylic. It was there. Just put it back there. Just bear with us. 47 red brown.
All right.
It's gloss paint, and I went quite close, so I didn't get the front one really glossy, but you can see on the back where it's still gloss is coming through, and I put the little bit of chipping on there.
Yeah.
And then I just used yellow in the engines. It'd be nice if I had a nice yellow gold.
Yeah.
To go in there, that'd look really nice, but it needs a bit of I might just put a little bit of a brown wash in there. But then I love this. I love the turret as well.
No, it is really cool. I must admit, my one-day build, which won't be, which I'm going to do maybe next month, is to do my trench run.
But yeah, if you can, they're just amazing.
See, now I've shaken these two up, they're actually looking identical colours.
All right.
Now it's had a bloody good shake, you can start to see it. They're looking pretty much the same. There's not a great deal in it. But when you put it next to the colour chip,
miles apart.
It is miles apart. But it's definitely more red on the colour chip.
Thing is, I haven't got out I can mix in with
Yeah.
really, because it would have been enamel, is it, that might. So I think if we both paint ours the same colour,
Yeah.
at least they'll look identical when they're on the stand.
Because obviously the colour call out that Trumpeter give is just red. So
It's
we
not
know
red
it's
at
not
all,
red.
is it?
No, that's it. But that's what they'd have you do.
And the instructions I've got for the aftermarket say international orange, which this is.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely when you look at the colour chip, if I go full screen for you, you guys can see it. Satellite delay on my mouse. That's what we've got. So this guy over here is the acrylic, I think, which is changing colour. You can, if you see it on the edge, this side here is a lot different. Okay, and then obviously this is our colour chip, and this is it. So as you see, it's definitely more of a red than anything else.
Would you be able to mix a bit of Mr. Hobby colour in with the enamel?
Don't know. Good point.
And maybe just add a hint of red?
Yeah, I believe so.
Because if we're using a self-leveling thinners with the enamel,
Yeah, it won't make any difference.
I'll give it a little shot, Phil.
Thing is, the only colour I've got in red, in hobby colour, is some weirdo red.
Does mine look, yeah. Oh, some weird. I've just got gloss red. So if I put a bit of that in there, just to see if it mixes. Well, ages ago I did it. What did I did? A Ferrari, I think.
Right, okay. Let me just have a look up here.
Ow. Right.
Oh, the only red I've got isn't red, actually, it's brown. That's the closest of red I've got in guns. What have I got as in a gloss red? Yeah, I'm struggling for gloss reds. I could put some rust pigment in it.
What about put some clear red in?
I've only got that in Tamiya. I should think it'll work. Yeah, what about sticking some clear red in? I might knock it up in a little colour cup and we'll see. See what we get. Okay,
Yeah, that's what I'm
try.
Oh, this is
But I'm happy to report that actually the colours are basically identical between the acrylic and the enamel.
yeah.
So. No, I just can't get the lid off.
Oh, I just had to get me a little paint
Jesus.
tool out.
Ah, enamels, don't you just love them?
I haven't used enamel in ages.
Right, okay, so
I
I'm just
think
going
that needs a little bit more. A little bit. I don't want to put too. I'd rather just have a bit more red in than.
chip. Take some clear red. Right, okay. Everyone still hear me, hopefully?
Yeah, that's a lot darker now, Phil. Well, it's not overly much.
Did you try clear red or just red?
I've got gloss red. I've just put in, but it's giving a darker. If you look there, Phil, it's a bit darker now. Oh, up a bit.
Yeah, I got you. Right, okay.
I'll show you a brush. It's a bit darker.
Where's me lid?
But if you've got any of them pots left that I sent you, they don't melt with cellulose thinner,
No, that's right.
which is good. I'll have to get some more next time I go.
See, it's a really difficult one to match this, I must admit.
Well, we know we've had to add a bit of red, so that's all we can do, isn't it?
Well, I'm clear red in mine.
Yeah, that's a lot darker.
I don't know, over here now, I don't know.
I think mine's a lot. I'm not going to put any more in, I don't think. I'm just going to leave it as is. Sandy.
Well, at least it's mixing.
It is, yeah, I was surprised at that. That's empty, that pot.
So obviously this will airbrush a lot different to how it looks in here anyway.
Well, I need to mix a load of thinner in yet. I'm just seeing if I've got any more red. Already covered in bloody stuff. Would you say you're like your paint goes on neat, but you end up covered?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh yeah. Okay.
So I have modelling shorts and trousers.
Yeah, well, that's why I wear camo. A lot of people think, yeah, why do you wear camo? Because I get moaned at for going through jeans. Because I normally wear my best jeans and then I get paint all over them or super glue. So I get murdered. So that's why I wear these.
Well, I need to
I've got
move
about 10 pairs of them now.
places, so I don't know how this has got a word for.
It's a weird colour.
Can I put this? Let's try this.
I'm wondering about lightening it a little bit. It looks too dark. I
Yeah,
don't know. It looks like it needs lightening if I'm honest, compared to the colour chip. But when you spray it, it'll lighten anyway, so...
yeah, I think mine's pretty much there actually. Well, looks better to me, but the only problem I'm having now is with my earpiece, so
Yeah, from your distance.
yeah.
Well look, I'm going to chuck a coat of paint on this just to see
Yeah.
what it goes like. And then
Right.
I will then go from that to using different colours as is required. If it needs lightening up, then we'll do a lighter coat over the top. It's not like it's pre-shaded.
No, well, what I'm going to do, picture's going terrible, I know, but I'm going to move my camera over so you can see what I'm doing. You might lose me. There we go.
It's getting old. Okay. Okay, let me just check the messages, make sure everyone's alright.
Right, Phil, you'll have to yell and let me know when you can see a good enough picture.
Right, at the moment we're looking inside the spray booth.
Yeah, I'm just trying to put it. Would it be better there, do you reckon?
I don't know, hold how you're going to spray your model.
Yeah, I'm going to have to. Should have set this up before, shouldn't we? Right, we need to put this somewhere. I'm going to be there, you need to see. So, do we reckon that angle?
Yeah, that's probably a better one. Because by the time you put the model in front,
Yeah, you'd be able to
yeah, that'd be fine. Yeah.
hold it like that, you'll be able to see how I'm doing. Forget echoey, Phil, just yell and I'll put my earpiece back in.
It's only when I speak you'll get the echo. Oh, I didn't then actually, so you're right.
See how that's looking. Oh shit, I've probably put too much thinner in now.
Right, well, okay. I'm just making sure we're all okay everywhere and we appear to be still online and streaming, which is good. Right, okay. Let me put us back to there where we were, question 10 I think, for when we come back. Yeah, okay, right. So, switching airbrushes, because I don't put enamels through my acrylic airbrush these days and vice versa.
I don't know where my other airbrush is.
In fact, what I'm going to quickly do, I think, is just warm up my old airbrush.
Press it on.
nudged in there.
I don't know, do you reckon that's alright for a colour fill?
Yeah, yours is definitely more red than mine.
Yeah, I'll see how it looks on. I think I've over-thinned it, which is a bugger. Language. Bit of a, I can just do it gently. Yeah, it's quite red. I think I might be from outside. Where the kitchen go? Right, I'll put my extractor on because I don't want to breathe this much in.
Jammed in one of the airbrushes. Apparently. Scrap that. Oh, try another one.
Well, that's how colour mine is, Phil. I don't know whether you can see
Yeah,
it.
that looks quite nice, yeah. Right, okay, we're good to go.
Can you see that? Yeah, you can.
Okay, let's give this a whirl. Things I don't normally use enamels, we'll cut to Ye Old Faithful.
Right.
Okay. So, extractor going on. Sorry about the noise, guys. Okay, we're done.
Good, you see, you're a lot quicker than me.
And I've cleaned out my airbrush. Right, just gonna clean myself up because I'm not as smart as Steve. I don't wear gloves.
Just that.
Hold on. There we go.
Gotta finish the top bit.
Yeah, yours definitely looks a different colour than mine.
That's it.
Never mind. Whose is closer to the paint chip? Neither. Right, how long is this stuff going to take to dry? About a month?
Yeah, I don't know. That's it with enamels. I don't know. Long time.
So yes, there we go. Very impressed with that. So far so good. First time we've ever got paint on. Sorry about for like half hour of nothingness. Is it still a little bit in here? A bit foggy? Hold on, let me just hit this for another couple of minutes. Also, a little quick tip for you. If you have got an extractor, think of it like air conditioning. In some ways it's not a good idea to have a window open as well. You might think that you're drawing air through, but the way the extractor works, it pulls everything that way. If you've got a window open, it's going to be circulating it a little bit and the extractor can't get hold of it all. But I don't know if you can notice, alright, that's me blowing it, but the actual thing itself, and that's just particles being pulled in. But if you go around, you'll probably get dust, orangey bits. So if my 190 turns orange now, we now know why. But there we go. Nice to I'm quite happy with the paintwork. Seemed to go on all right. I think the big thing with this colour will be this particular colour. I think you're going to be in the situation where you won't be able to see it properly until you see the white and the black. With the white and the black you get the contrast, and like I say with a lot of our airbrushing, is that if you're in a situation where it doesn't look right, trust yourself, because sometimes it might be a little bit better once you've got the actual you know, a second colour in there. So you might be putting like down a grey and the grey doesn't look right, put down the darker colour, you can then see both of them. Sorry, bug. And then that way you'll see stuff onto this. Just hoping we're all good on this. Go around and do little touch-ups, but I can't see any problems. I got a little bit of texture in my gloss work just down at the back here. That's purely where you're trying to hit an edge and then it spills over. If you're doing any type of gloss work, remember positive paint, i.e. put it on so it's wet, then come away and it'll start to grip. So I'm hoping we're all okay. It might need another bit more on the bottom, but I can't get in there to see. So, and you can see the different approaches me and Steve have. Steve does very much a little areas, yet with me it's all. I'm different way of doing it. It's just, you know, everyone has their own ways of doing it. But you see how Steve's moving around, where I was more a case of just chucking it right the way over. Normally because it's a gloss, you know, I tend to go in heavier and a lot more over it. But you see where Steve hasn't gone where he's masked, I go right over everything.
That's really, I'm about to touch that light up, I think. Oh well.
See, I grabbed it by the nose when I had to do other things, because the nose is going to be black anyway. So there we go. As Steve makes his way through with that, I'll check on questions. Have a sip of thingy. But I have to say, that's the first time I think I've sprayed anything big with the Model Master paint. So I've done little jobs with it, but I've never done a big job with it, and it actually came along really nicely. So question 10 was Theo. Is that question 10? Yeah. Hi Phil and Steve. I have a few questions. Do you have an I don't have an airbrush and was wondering if you know anything about the Tamiya spray paint in cans, whether it's worth using or just sticking to enamels for painting. The TS cans, which they do some very nice colours and all the rest of it, is basically their paint in an aerosol. They tend to recommend using those for doing like the bigger 1/32 stuff. It will always give references to TS numbers versus anything else. So from that point of view, yeah, you know, they are good colours, but if you're using a smaller project, it may be not worthwhile doing it. It's really designed for big areas because you can get a lot of overspray and have all types of problems with it. Then he says, any suggestions on a good acrylic paint sets for brushwork? Mainly armour, but aircraft get built here and there. Again, Vallejo, the white tops for hand painting.
Yeah.
The Panzer colours, isn't it, Steve, as well? They're all...
Yeah, model colour and Panzer Racers, Vallejo Panzer Racers, brilliant.
Yeah. So yeah, they're the two, because they can be hand painted as well, because they're thicker. They're not like the Model Air, which are very thin, which aren't really ideal for hand painting. Usual thing though, little tip for using the white top paint, if you thin them with a little bit of airbrush cleaner, it's got like a retarder in it and it makes them flow really nicely, gets rid of all your brush marks and all your bits and pieces like that. But Panzer Aces comes in sets as well, I do believe, don't they, Steve?
Yeah, they do. But again, yeah, use retarder as well.
Yeah.
Self-retarder and some thinner, and it'll go on a tree.
Cool. So yeah, go for that one. And also, I'm looking to build a P40. Do you have any suggestions for a 148 or 172nd? The Warhawk.
There's a new one just come out, brand new one.
Whose is that?
Oh, did it? I forget, but there's a brand new one just come out this last couple of weeks.
Ah, right. Okay.
And I can't remember who's made it, which is a shame, but hold off buying one until, because no doubt you'll get one infill, but there is a brand new one just come out.
Right, okie dokie. There you go. Watch this space. I'll keep an eye out for it. If any of the members do know which one it is, please post it up down below, and obviously you can help Theo out. As I say, if it's new kit, chances are we'll have it in here. We'll review it and have a look at it just like that. Okay, PS, what about doing a speedy 172nd challenge? Any 172nd scale model with a 3-day deadline? Could be fun on the forums to see what people can do. I like that idea actually. That's actually quite a nice one. So there you go, Theo. Watch this space, make waves in the forum, and I'm sure we could do that as a mini-sig, 3D mini-sig, just to see. And if we did it in something like a Saturday show as well, or as part of like a Tuesday night live or something else like that, that'd be really good as well.
We could launch it, yeah, launch on a, like you say, on a show.
Yeah, if we launched it on a show or ended it on a show, might be good.
Yeah, don't think I'll build a 172nd Nimrod though.
Well, yeah, no, I'll pass on that one. Or you could do the you know, the big A400.
Yeah. Gato class submarine.
Yeah, that's it. It'd be fine. Piece of cake.
Simple.
Okay.
Just people know. All I'm doing now is I'm using a bit of paint, but I'm really thinning it till it's probably 80% thinner. You know, just to give that really wet coat at the end.
Yeah.
I just think it's my preferred way of doing it. I know you do it different, but this is my.
I was going to say, it's the whole point of this. We can all see different ways. I'm more a case of thick paint, heavy as hell, okay, just before you get the runs, where Steve's doing it the other way. So he's got like probably a satin finish, but to get the gloss look, which is just the other way of doing it, you go in then with obviously a wet, thin coat, which gives you that sort of glassy surface onto it, which again gives you the polished look. But it's just interesting to see how Steve sprays compared to me is totally different.
Well, usually it's like when I'm doing an aircraft. Sometimes to get the effect that I want, I'll do virtually panel by panel.
Yeah.
Do little bits at a time, and that's my preferred. Like I say, everybody's got their own preferred way of doing it, but
That's it.
but
It's always nice when you see other people painting because you get that different techniques of how they do it and that. I think a lot of mine is born out of doing commission work. So when you're doing commission work, time's money, so you're sort of doing it the quickest possibly way. Not necessarily the correct way or the most enjoyable way, but it sort of stuck with me a bit. So I'm very much a case of when I'm painting, just get the paint down, then we'll play with it all afterwards. So if this was more a military aircraft, for instance, totally different approach. Go and have a watch of the actual 190 build, because that's pretty much warts and all, and you'll see I didn't treat it like this. This, because it's one colour, it's gloss, I'm going to go in there and we're just going to flatten it all down, go right over the top, get it in there heavy, and we'll be good to go. The paint, I have to say, is very forgiving because I was very heavy with it, thinking it's going to run in a minute, and you can tell when it's going to run because it looks really, really wet. That's your key. If you're trying to go for a gloss effect the way I do it, just take a step back. As soon as you think that's looking very wet, chances are it's going to run, okay? So you've got enough time to step back, let it dry off. You can always come in with more further coats. This will take longer to dry than Steve's will, purely because I've got more paint on than Steve. Steve's building is up in little layers. They're getting time to dry between each layer. You'd be good to go. With me, I did a 2-layer effect, dusty one to start with, heavy as hell on the second, to get the more sort of glass look that I was after. But as I say, different ways of doing it. Mine will take longer to dry, I can tell you that now. Mine will take a couple of days really to go off before I can really get in there and handle it. The other thing as well, when I'm unmasking mine, I'll need to go in there and cut it. So what I have to do is physically get in there with a blade, very sharp new one, and go around all the masking, because otherwise if I pull it, my paint will be that thick, I'm likely to peel. And we don't want that as well. Where when it's a thinner, lighter coats and you build them up slowly, they tend to dry out, you can peel them off and away you go. Alright. I might try and undo the top before we leave just to have a look to see how it is. But I'm itching to see how this is drying, and actually
I've just Sorry, mate. I've
Go on.
just finished, and you could say I'm out of paint. I've got a little dribble, if that, in the bottom.
What, an entire pot?
Yeah, not an entire pot from what I mixed up.
Oh, right, I was going to say.
No, not an entire pot. Bloody hell! I just need to finish me little pot.
Well, you think I made up that pot. I'm probably leaking through the bottom of this now. And I've still got over a quarter in here.
See, I don't know how much paint I put in mine.
Because I knocked up just shy of the top of it, about half a pot, then thinned it, so. I think I did, what do you think, it's 5mm colour cups? So I probably went through 3 with thinners, so not much really. Anyway, Lewis says, morning Phil and Steve, looking forward to seeing the first coats of paint on the Dolphins. Well, they're on there now. Actually, it is drying, I can touch. I'm going to try and unmask this before we end today. What's time now? Oh, well, we're going to go over anyway today to make up for our little thing this morning. Right, okay, looking forward to seeing the coat. I really like the US Coast Guard red, or orange in this case. Steve's is more red. The red and white scheme remembers me the Baywatch TV series. Hey, we all grew up with that one. JJ.
Summer. It's summer. The one Pam Anderson or that other one, wasn't there? And
yeah, the brunette I liked. Yeah.
And then there were Erica Elniak who did Playboy first.
Oh right, yeah. Obviously, I clearly wouldn't know anything about that.
I don't. You can see that, Philip. That's really nice. That.
Yeah.
A really nice shine on it.
I must admit, it's funny because obviously our cameras are different, but if you can see the screen, this is mine. And mine looks more orangey, yours looks definitely more red than mine. But I'm really happy how that came out.
Yeah, it might need a little rub, I don't know, but I like to give it a little polish after. But yeah, I'm quite chuffed with that, Phil. But yeah, it's good that they've seen how I do it and how you do it.
Yeah.
Just clean my airbrush now.
It's like the hare and the tortoise. I am definitely the hare. I could do like speed airbrushing.
I'm just glad my extractor's pulling out all that crap.
I must admit, you can smell it. I'm not used to spraying enamels. That's the first time I've sprayed a proper enamel coat in years. Literally years and years that I've done a full enamel job. And it stinks. You know? And I just know the place is contaminated with it. That's why I don't use it. And in fact, I can see on the top of the coffee maker, I have a very fine dusting of orange as I look right across it. So yeah, everything in here is now turned orange. So it just shows how, you know, you have to be careful spraying this stuff around. I bet everything now has got an orange dusty coat. Okay, so that was Lewis, I do believe. Was that Lewis? Yeah, that was Lewis. Okay, so Matt says, good morning guys. Steve, why do you love armour kit so much? Are you a retired military? My wife calls tanks glorified tissue boxes.
I don't know, I just...
It is, because considering you're ex-RAF...
Yeah, there's variety, but I do both, don't I?
Yeah.
Thanks.
I think you've been typecast as the armour god, so that's it now.
Yeah, but I probably do more armour than aircraft now, but I like building anything really. But I don't know, with armour you see the vehicles, they all have different character. You can add a lot to it, a lot more details, and yeah, I just enjoy building them. There's no reason as to why really. But yeah, you'd think I just build planes, but
no,
I do like both.
Cool. Okay, Phil, on your round the world trip, love to see you in St. Louis, Missouri. We'd love to take you to the Cardinals baseball game up in St. Louis. I go to the brewery tour, one of the largest breweries in the world. Oh, that's me sold, I'm there. Good luck painting the dolphins, Matt. Love to, Matt, definitely. I'm going to be like Flo.
We, well, we need to bloody go on a...
Around the world tour. That's what I said on yesterday's live show, on the Leslie's You show. I said, that's it, I'm going to go. Did you see my bottle of port I got sent?
No. That bottle...
Have you not seen it?
No.
Oh, I was very lucky, and oh god, I can get it. Berettis, I think his name. Sorry if I've just mutilated. Sent me this. Can you see it, Steve?
No. Oh, cool.
I got a cracking bottle of port. If I can undo it, I can expose it. Yes, I was sent a lovely bottle of port yesterday. Thank you very much for that. So we're off to Portugal. That's definitely on the stop list.
In fact, my mum's going next year.
Oh, is she? Yeah, my brother only came back last week.
Where did she go this year? No, she's not. Where's she going? Madeira. That's where.
All right. Cool. Okay, so good luck on those. Okay, so Glenn says, hi Phil and Steve, how about a classic group build for 2017? Must be a classic kit from Matchbox Airfix. No aftermarket parts apart from decals, because obviously I think you definitely need them. Also, do you know what happened to the new Dam Buster movie? Has anything been in the UK press? That's a good point. No. It seems to have died a death, wasn't it? Peter Jackson was doing it, wasn't he? And they built a ground-running Lancaster in China for it, I do believe. As I say, it sort of died a death, isn't it? I haven't heard anything about it or what was going to happen to it. I know the scripts were done and a lot of the scale effects and everything were all done. But yeah, it sort of died a death, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, they could be filming it, you don't know.
That's it, you never know with these things, do you, till they've done it. Okay, is there a problem? I've got a fuzzy screen. Sorry guys, me too. Yeah, sorry. Going to get loads of these messages now, aren't we? Hold on. Hopefully we're all fixed now. I'm getting the same. Sorry guys, it's working now. Panic over. Right, okay. Morning lads, I have two questions. First one for Phil. When was the last time you built a kit just for you and not in front of the cameras?
Didn't you do your Batmobile?
No, that was on camera. Yeah,
yeah,
I did that when I was in Hawaii. Just trying to think. I don't know. Probably around about, if I'm honest, 2006, 2007 would have been the last time I did one for me. And even then it would have probably been on a forum or something, just not a video. Yeah, pass. Yeah, a long time, over 10 years now. This is for both of you. Do you have a shelf of doom with half-finished kits, which you just lost the will to finish? Me, no, because obviously you guys wouldn't let me do such a thing. But Steve, he did have until he dropped it around about 9 o'clock this morning.
Oh no, they were kind of built kits that were being damaged over time. So.
Oh, they were your repair stash, was it?
Well, they were, to be honest, they weren't really for repair. They were just still there, and I'll just get little bits off them that I need, and that'll do me, you know.
All right, okay.
Well,
so you do have a bit of a stash, though, don't you, of half-done kits? You're usually on top of your spray booth.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
He's got a Missouri.
You see that? Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, what happened to the Hawk? You had a Hawk up there for a while.
Oh, that's still there right at the back. But good news, Phil. Look, look, look. Can you see?
Oh, you've got it on there.
I've got it on, thanks. It was Rob who sent it me. Thanks, Rob.
Well done, Rob. You've saved me having to cast one.
So I can get back on track with this now.
Cool. Got some good ones in the forum actually at the moment. One of the guys is doing it. He was casting up his the resin compressor blades for it.
Oh, cool. Hang on. The bit I'm not looking forward to is I've got to rescribe now where I just have to adjust that a bit. Move this cable out of the way. Just bear with us. That's the problem with having a multiple cameras, isn't it? How's that looking?
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, you're good.
Turn that off. Then I put my earpiece back in there. Oh. Oops.
Actually, just take my earpiece up for one. Hold that thought. I'm just going to open the window, let some fresh air in there because it stinks. Not only is everything orange, it actually stinks.
My
And
room.
people say to me, why don't you use enamels? That's why. Horrible things. Smelly, nasty things.
Mine's not too bad, you see now, Phil. It's about, but mine definitely is redder than yours, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah.
But mine looks. I don't know who's nearest to you.
Well, I have the official colour swatch.
Mine too red, do you reckon?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But then, as I say, it'd be really difficult to know until you expose it.
Put more
See, that
light
looks
on.
better with the light on. Yeah, it looks now more orange with the light on it.
Yeah. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah, a lot
Yeah,
more.
I think you're right, actually. Because don't forget, I'm here under like 1 billion watts of light. So, yeah, I think maybe in the dark it looks a little bit...
Mine might need a little polish. It's more shiny, actually.
Hmm.
It looks smooth, but I might. What I like to do anyway when I do glosses, I've got some Tamiya compounds.
Yeah.
So I'll just give it a little polish, and then obviously when you put your 2-pack on, then it gives it even deeper.
Yeah. Christ, we'd a 2-pack them as well. Mine would be about 4 inches thick of paint and lacquer. It'd be like a glass ball.
I think it just seal the decals in it, just really make it pop then, won't it? And it obviously you need it for the white.
Yeah, definitely.
And then the flat black, it look really nice.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do all of that and then do the black workers last.
But I'm going to say, Phil, while we read out all the questions, we've got to build another kit while we start.
Well, the thing is, it's 20 to 12 now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought I'm making me way through these. Okay. Right. Okay. So Wobbo, which is, has he got that through as a username? I have to change that because his name's Chris, but he's got under Wobbo Robinson. I don't know how the system let him through. He must have that as a username as well. Okay, do you have any tips for working with really small photo etch parts? I'm struggling to manipulate the small parts and struggle to stop them flinging around the room. Cheers, Chris. Personally, for me, if it's tiny little parts, I'll usually stick bits of Tamiya tape or tape to them, so I've got them as a bigger part. And then obviously I use small little tweezers, even for bending. When I use them for various doing the latches on this guy, I actually used little tweezers because you couldn't get in there with bending tools; it would be too big, and it does the chip because they're small. They bend very easily as well. Steve?
Yeah, I tend to use. I've got some Tamiya photo etch bending tweezers, really small, flat end. They're really good. With really small bits, sometimes if you just flatten off the end of a cocktail stick, just nip the little end up, and then you can just lick it, stick it on your part, and then put it on the model. That works quite well.
Right.
A teeny bit of wax as well on end of your tweezers, and then it just grips it a little bit better. It don't, your part's not sliding off anywhere. Then you know, just gives you that little bit more grip to it. And also use a bit of PVA glue, and then you can always clean it off afterwards.
Yeah, the other thing I do as well on your tweezers, if you dip them in mask oil, open, obviously not closed, because that won't work. Okay, so literally, if you get your tweezers like that, dip them in mask oil and out, you'll get little rubbery ends. They don't last very long, but it'll be enough for doing little jobs, and that stops things pinging out. So that's what I do sometimes if it's tiny little bits that I'm losing. But if you've got like the cross hatch reverse tweezers that lock, obviously dip them open, and then you should be able to grip things a lot better, stops them flying off. And
see, I don't like using them for
what, the cross ones?
Yeah, for when you're placing PE
Oh yeah,
parts.
no, it's just for holding. I use one as a clamp to hold, and then if I'm doing like photo etch harnesses and stuff, I use the locking ones because it holds it, and then you can then use the one that's not locked for, you know, lacing it all up and everything.
But yeah, a little bit of spit. Just wet the end of your tweezers because that gives that again a bit more grip, any
Yeah.
liquid.
Right, okay, so Joe was on about the problem we had first thing, so that's okay, that's sorted now. Phil, is your new computer done a HAL 9000? Probably. Right, okay, yeah, it wasn't the new computer. New computer's working fine, to be honest, it's great. That was purely YouTube changed the codes. So when we do a streaming as normal, for some reason, when YouTube has got the information and then sends it out to all the various links, the codes have changed. So when I went around and changed all the codes again, we were right. Okay, Charles says, good morning Phil and Steve. I have the Tamiya 135th scale Tiger 1 mid-late production lined up to build. My question is, are through-all tracks worth the cost? And are there any metal track alternatives? Keep up the great work. Best wishes, Charles. Steve, you're the expert.
Yeah, I'd say good thing about them is that you've instantly got that really heavy look, and they produce brilliant sag. So on that score, yes, they are worth the money. As for alternatives, now I keep forgetting the name. There is more aftermarket track people coming onto the market now, but I just forget the name. It begins with M. And they're bringing out some really nice tracks. I don't know if they've gone for the Tiger, but if I can, what's the name of them? I should have a little book, shouldn't I, with all me?
Yeah, all the little details.
Yeah, but you forget. But the Frual ones, yeah, definitely worth it. Make sure you get the right ones, because I know by looking here you can get early or late and different stuff like that. But yeah, they are worth it.
Yeah.
If I can find the name of the other ones, I'll let you know. No, it's honestly slipped off of my head.
All right, okie dokie. Right, Eric says, morning Phil and Steve, which scale A10s are you going to do for the future A10 SIG? For me, I'm doing 32nd all the way.
Yeah, same here.
So everyone's got to do a 32nd one. So that's the plan with that one. But anyway, any scale, it's going to be a SIG, so it'll be a sort of free-for-all, but it is going to be the Hog's Pen, or whatever we're going to call it. So it's all going to be that. So part of it we're going to do as full builds. Originally it was going to be a Saturday thing, but it's a little bit too heavy for that. So we're going to do that as a full SIG. So
there is
technically be next year's super build.
Yeah, there is a chat area opened up now for that. So whatever you type of A10, just put it in there. But it should be good fun, actually. I'm right looking forward to that one.
I would really like to convert it to a C, which isn't a massive trouble. It's just the cockpit area. So I might have to borrow an F16 cockpit, because a lot of the parts are common, like the grip and everything else. I know I have it there, and all the bits and pieces. So technically the throttle quadrant is out of an F15E, and the actual control sticks from an F16. So I need to pinch them, and then obviously put the second monitor in and just shovel everything around inside the cockpit. But I think it'd be worth it. Lumps and bumps and that are pretty simple, and stick a sniper pole on it and we'd be good to go, really. Right, okay, so Bruno says, hello guys, just a quick question about Special Hobbies Tempest. What's your opinion of it? Have you already seen it yourself or just photos? I had the old Edard with the Alley Cat set for the tail correction, but such a piggy kit. I gave it to the club's mate, who's braver man than me. As it's 1/32nd scale, it should be interesting. Thanks and keep up the great work, Bruno. I don't think I've seen it. Is it a new one or is it one that I've reviewed? I don't know if it's in our review section. I did do one of them. I don't know if it was the Tempest. But yeah, again, you know, lovely kit, the Tempest, the Typhoon family and all the rest of it, and in 32nd be a very nice kit. But as you say, Special Hobby, remember, they tend to need a little bit more work, shall we say. They tend to have obviously the resin bits and the bits and pieces in there, so it's not a shake and bake kit, so you are going to need to put a little bit of work in that one. So yeah, so there's that one. I don't know, have you heard about that one, Steve? Tempest?
No, I haven't heard about that. The tracks, it's there's a company called Master Caston do tracks for the Tiger.
Right.
So that's another alternative. in America, dollar price, they're $45, and the workable tracks. So that could be an option to look at.
Yeah. Cool. As I say, with
There
Tigers
is
and
others.
Russian,
Yeah,
you know, in some ways they're quite nice because they have that sag and the clankiness to them.
yeah.
Where I think it's all you with metal. When I did like the Sherman and stuff, because they're under pressure, they don't have sag and all the rest of it technically. So it's quite nice.
It's the sag that makes, especially when
Yeah.
there's no side skirts, the sag on the top.
Mm.
If your rubber band tracks or individual track links allow it to put sag in, make sure you glue them to each wheel, and that way you can put a little bit of sag in there yourself.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Fruel ones just give you that sag instantly. Only problem I find is with Fruel is you have to put them together, and it says just push your pin through. This bit of brass never happens like that. Never happens. You've got to start drilling them out, and my fingers aren't good, so it really hurts. I've got a bit of arthritis in my hands, and it really hurts. So what I've found is if you get one thing that does help is a bit of brass rod. They're usually around 0.5, 0.6, or 0.4 to 0.6 ish mil brass rod. If you get some of that in one pack, it should do a whole set, and it just don't bend as much when you're pushing it in. But you still need to drill through. So, and you'll go through drill bits. Sometimes you go break 2 or 3. So that's the downside. But I know these companies now that we've got pins that just go in at the end. New company, and I can't for the life. There's this other one that's coming out. In fact, they built them for the Chieftain. Some of the guys are using them on the Chieftain tanks builds. So if you have a look at Chieftain tank builds, you might find it. So there's, but there is more and more companies coming out, and then again, you see, you can also get resin ones or plastic track links. I know companies like Bronco and AFV Club, they did a load of individual track links that you can just glue together or snap together. You know, that's what we need.
Yeah.
We need a better solution for. I know white metal tracks are good, but it's all the faffing around. You want something it takes long enough to put track links together anyway. It's this way you have to faff around, then drill out the holes because the white metal during castings covered it over and all that. You know,
to be honest, that was the trouble with that SU85 that I reviewed this week. It's so detailed and such a beautiful kit. If you were to use those ones on there, which are supposed to be workable, which they're not because the pins are too long. So when you try and click them together, you can put one end in, but you can't put the other end in because the pin's too long. So then it shears off and bends it, and then it doesn't work. But for something, if you're going to do that type of work on that tank, you've really got to go down the aftermarket route and stick in a set of metal ones, because again, it has that sag. And on obviously the SU85, you look at it and it is literally like that. It's big platey meats on that one, isn't it? So yeah, definitely don't use the kit ones on those because those are awful. You know, invest the money because you spent all that time doing the interior and gorgifying it, that it it really is worth the upgrade. Okay, so Pajamet says, "Morning guys, Phil, could you do a review on the Bandai Clone Trooper set? Plan on making my first Bandai kit, never done one before." Yes, I have got it. It's over there. They came in the other week. And I will do a review. One of those will be next week. I've got other bits of aircraft and armour as well to do, and then I'll put another one afterwards. So I'll do the Clone Trooper this week. I'll do the Advanced TIE Fighter because it's extremely similar to Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. Sorry, TIE Interceptor to the TIE Advanced one. But I'll do the Clone Trooper this week. That'll be up with you. And then I will promise I'll do some of those other sci-fi kits as well, because obviously we've got over there, they're both Master Mobius. I've got all the Vipers as well to do as well. And I'll get them sorted. Also, Steve, the Master Brush Cleaner is a nice addition to your paintbrush arsenal. Bought mine at the London Graphics Centre, but have seen it on Amazon. Have you seen that? It's got a little picture there of it as well. The Master Brush
I'm looking at it now,
Cleaner and Preserver.
Do you know how you read that? the sentence in, it said also Steve, the master brush cleaner.
Yeah,
It's a
that's
nice.
it.
I thought I'm a master brush cleaner now as well as
That's it. Well, yeah, that as well. Yeah,
Mr.
absolutely.
Sander, Captain Sander, or whatever it is, and
Yeah, Steve the Sander.
yeah.
Steve Sander. Right, okay. George Taylor, good morning from Los Angeles, Phil and Steve. I have a stupid question for Phil. No such thing. Do you get your nice new watch covered in overspray from the Airbrush? I always see you painting it on your wrist. No, I don't actually. Sometimes I get a bit on there, but to be honest, I go in the shower with it. So it all just gets washed away. And because it's acrylic, don't have a problem. If I was spraying enamels, it might be a bit harder to get off. But being acrylic, it gets wet and it just comes off anyway if I do get some on. Occasionally, not so much on this one, I haven't done it yet. I'm looking now to see if I've got any orange on it. But my old one, sometimes you get a bit on there. But as I say, to be honest, I go in the shower with it on and then it comes off and gets a wash anyway. So no problems on that one. Okay, that's that question up to date. Let's see if we've got any more. Yep, okay. I'm not able to get in the live stream. It just says unavailable. What, again? I thought it was alright now. You want to check that, Steve? We must be on because we've got
I think
191 people watching us at the moment.
unless he didn't refresh it, yeah, it's going because somebody's just put up a question about the aftermarket melt tracks. So Chris Taylor asked 9 minutes ago. So
yeah, that's it. And he said he's just gone over to YouTube and he can watch us there. All right, okay. So Chris Taylor, morning Steve and Phil, love the show. Not a question, but other aftermarket metal tracks are available from AK Interactive. Model casting.
Yeah, model casting.
And Easy Metal Tracks. The Easy Metal Tracks are excellent but limited in type. You can get them from the Historics agents.
I think that's the ones I was thinking of. Easy Metal, yeah.
Yeah.
Historics agents. They're a very good site that many people don't actually.
Isn't that the really bad website that's really hard to navigate?
I don't find it that bad actually.
Oh right, okay.
It's that one. I'm just going on there now. Yeah, they have all the stuff down the left-hand side. Manufacturers, Easy Metal links. That's got to be it. They do it for the Panzer 4, 3 and 4 different variants. The Leopard 2, Puma, more Panzers, T90.
Right.
And different Panzers, so they don't say. But there is one who does it for the. I thought they did it for the Chieftain. I forget who makes them. But yeah, they look interesting. I'll have to try some. I think I've got some fuel tracks to see for the T90. It's always good if you go to Telford, buy your tracks there because they always sell them about 10 cheaper than you get over here.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you for everybody still sending me stuff about. That's a good photo. That's what we like to see. See, he's got a full armoured seat in that, and that's not taut. Oh God, now we really are in a weird one. Thank you, whoever sent me this one. I can't remember who you were now. Hold on, let me do. Oh, I can't do that. Oh God, now I've just ruined everything. One of the guys has sent me a photo, and it's got the exact plane we're doing. Oh God, what have I done now? There it is. Okay, if I bring this up, you guys can see it. This is the aircraft in question. How well you can see that. I don't know if this will work. But anyway, this has got the full armoured back seat to it, the same as mine, and it's the blown canopy, and all the rest of it. And as you can see, it's bloody taut. So I'm going to leave mine taut now, because that is what we were after. It's the blown canopy, it's got the full armoured seat in it, and it's taut. So I really have now, don't know. But yeah, that was sent in to me by, who sent me that? Just trying to bring up your thing, come on. Etelin. Thank you, Etelin. That's fantastic. That's sorted me completely. That's so that gets rid of that small problem. It's funny because I got 14, well it would have been 16, but I just read 2 of them, people all on about it. So 190 aerial is correct. This is from Tom. He's got a Google image as well. See, look, now I'm really lost. I can't click on that from my phone. But yeah, so Tom says it's correct. Here's another one. Sorry, if I get this to go through, it's going to load through. So now I'm a bit lost because I thought it was wrong, but now I've got photos showing that as right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an executive decision, and instead of messing around with that, I'm actually going to keep it as is and do it that way. So
You've got photographic proof.
I've got photographic proof now. But so when somebody says your aerial's wrong, I can say, actually, look, because I've got it here and it shows it with tension on, and he's even stood right next to it, which is really nice. So yes, there we go.
It just sounds like a big can of worms, doesn't it?
It is, because apparently, you know, when I did my research on it as well, when I initially went through it all, I sat on Google for a good hour and went through every image I could find of it. And the trouble that you find is all the World War II grainy images, because I don't want somebody's kit that they've built, and I don't want one that's in a museum, because let's face it, they all tend to be like Frankenstein's. Okay, I wanted to have a picture of someone stood next to it with a canopy open, and then I'd know. And every one I found of the blown canopy showed it taut. You know, for this particular one, and it was like, well, that seems to be it, but you can never quite tell because the image was that grainy and horrible. You can't see the cable, but you can see the white blobs, you know, the actual whatever they are on the aerial itself, so you could see them in a straight line. It wasn't hanging down or anything else like that. So that's why I made my decision on. I thought, well, look, they seem to be taut and I can't really see it. I can see lots of them saggy and all the rest of it, but this type, the F type, seemed to have it taut. So I thought, right, we're going to go with that. And then as soon as I put it on the site, that was it. I had loads of people saying, no, it's wrong, it should be saggy. And then I had other people, as soon as I mentioned it, said, no, you are right. And then this morning, everybody's now sending me pictures of that one. But that's the best photo so far, because I can see the armoured headrest and it's there, and there's a guy stood next to it. So that's the whole point. So I'm going to leave it now as is. I'm going to put a photo of it next to it at Telford, because then everybody comes along saying, should be saggy. I'm going to have a little note saying, I know it should be saggy, but it's not, because it's the same as this.
I'm going to say, AK do tracks, metal tracks for the Tiger.
Oh, right. When did they start doing that? I didn't even realise.
I don't know. I don't know if it's brand new, nicely done, or whether the Reeboks are full tracks. I don't know.
Oh, right.
So I don't know anything about them. They do it for the. Oh, which track is it? Tank were you on about then? The mini art one.
Yeah.
Which one is it again? That you got?
The SU-85.
Ah, well they.
Don't do that.
No, they do it for the SU-152 and KV-85. So I don't know if they'd same family. If you looked into it, they might be.
Yeah. Look, I'm taking my life in the hands here. I've just unmasked a bit just to work out if the orange is the right shade or not. If I stick it on the overhead, everyone can make their... There you go. I wouldn't risk it too much because mine's really wet. I'm just thinking, look, for time purposes, hopefully the guys can see it there. I don't really want to play with it. I know I'm playing with fire. I want to take the tail ones off as well just to see what they look like, but oh, do I risk it? Oh, I'm itching to have a go. Oh no, don't. Tell you what, I'll do this side. Let's have a play, because I might be able to get this one off without making a complete mess. Okay, this will be sent a bit. Right, here we go. Moment of truth. I'm a martyr doing this all live, I know, but hey ho. Come on, break.
Oh, hang on.
Oh god. It's all wet still.
There you go. Here you now. There you go, Phil.
Very nice. Yeah, see, it doesn't look as it's more orange now. When using your spray booth, it looked black.
Yeah.
So I think you'd be all right.
Yeah. Not shiny, because it looked really shiny when and it's gone down really nice. Nice finish,
Yeah.
but definitely need the 2-pad. But yeah, it's nice. Mine needs a little tidy up, I think, in the front, but that's just a little bit of white paint. There's no hardship there.
There we go. Look, I was worried about that tail. What do we reckon? Got away with it? I can't pick it up to hold it on the
I
side. That's
can't.
the thing.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'll put you full screen. You can have a better look.
Oh, I bet mine looks crap.
So that. So yeah, there's the tail. See it in there, and then obviously we got that. I think it worked, considering I winged it completely to do this tail, and we just stuck it on when we had like 5 minutes to go last week, or last time we was on. I actually think that centered up beautifully. I had visions of it being off to one side.
Mine's bled through a bit.
You got some bleed through.
Yeah, don't stuck down well at all. But I don't mind. It's not got to be too much to.
Well, bring her up. Let's have a look.
Hang on, let's just try and put that side off. I don't think I'll be able to.
I don't think I can risk taking off the side ones. And I don't want to do the bottom ones in case I've got to respray at the moment.
Oh, got my tweezers still then.
I wonder if I can.
Yeah, I've had a little bleed through, Phil. Yeah. God, that's bloody terrible. I'll have to respray the white, unfortunately, but.
Oh, right, yeah, I got you. Yeah, it's come through on that edge, isn't it?
Yeah, and that way.
Definitely a better colour. You've got the colour fine.
Yeah. It needs, like I say, I'm going to have to. But to be honest, it's got to be easier going round and retouching it up. It's not going to be too much of a job.
Yeah. Oh, cool. This comes in. There we go.
You see the stripe? It's not too. It's not. It's just making sure I don't get a fingerprint on it, because the top, Phil. You see, yours has come out a lot glossier than mine.
Yeah.
I wonder why that. Yeah, must be your technique or.
Well, I paint a lot heavier. I think that's the.
Yeah.
But I'm really happy about how that's come out. That's really well. I just don't want to handle it because it's still wet. It's like sticking to my fingers every time I touch it.
Yeah, I can well get that.
But actually, I must admit, considering I'm not being funny, we're doing it live, and I'm aware of like not wanting to bore everybody for death as I paint this. Considering we just chucked it on, it's worked really well. There wasn't a lot of due care and attention to this one, and I think somewhat we're there. And then once the black is on as well, get the white undone completely, and then we get the black on there and all the bits and pieces. I think it's really going to look very nice. But I must admit, it's the self-leveling thinners again, because it's worked an absolute dream. Everything is painted beautifully. Again, can't touch anything for at least a week before this goes off. But I must admit, I'm very, very happy with that. It's worked a treat. And as I say, once the black's on there and the various bits and pieces, I think it's going to look very much the part. So yes, happy little bunny actually, considering all things done. I think that worked really, really well. And I found out my area was the correct as well, so that's even better now. So now you naysayers, I'm going to be there. I'm going to actually, let me, where's my thing? There it is. I'm just going to actually save image as. That's it.
Where's me? Right, if you stay there and don't move, helicopter.
There you go. I'm just going to show everyone again my picture because I've managed to get it a bit bigger now. Where's my remotes? I've got my remotes. Remote controls for the cameras. No? All done with them all. Oh well. I've lost a load of remotes for the cameras. Oh, it's over there. There we go. That's the one. That's what we're talking about, boys and girls. This is the trouble I've had. I'm going to beam it up a bit more. You can see the aerial is taut and he's armoured and he's blown. Perfect. Well done, whoever sent me that. You've saved me bacon. I am going to print that photo off though. I'm going to have it on a little thing next to it at Telford. Because you know everyone would be going past going, nah, if it's wrong.
Oh,
it
they
should
will.
have sag. I can go, no, it's not. I've got photographic evidence.
And you know,
But
some people always take great pleasure in it as well, don't they?
oh yeah, that's it. It's that thing. Right.
That's slightly out, that. I don't know what's gone on there.
What's that? Your white bit?
Yeah, I'm going to have to touch it. One side's fine, I think the other bit, I don't know how they've sent it up like that.
Oh, it's looking.
Oh no, there's
right?
still a bit of masking tape there. Bloody hell.
Right, see if we've got any more questions. See, I'm really reluctant. I really want to unmask mine, but I daren't because one, my paint's a lot thicker, and secondly, I've got a real nasty feeling that if I try and peel that, it might take the paint with it.
Well, I've noticed a little area where I need to respray. But that's no.
Yeah,
no
the whole point
shit.
is we can just go back and do touch-ins and
Yeah.
everything that's required.
But you see, at the top, I can grip it because obviously it's white and then black directly
Yeah.
behind. But that doesn't look too bad. Oh, you can't see it, can you? Pillock.
Yeah, no, that's looking. Definitely, the colour is pretty much the same as mine. When you've
Yeah.
got yours like there, looking on the screen, there's not a lot in it. Yours, as I say, it's got more of a satin finish, where mine's more glossy, and I think
Yeah.
that'll affect it as well because as soon as you put a gloss on there, it'll get lighter
Yeah.
because it'll reflect.
I'm surprised it hasn't come out glossy because it was really glossy, and then when paint's dried, back it in. So
No, that's it. There's hopefully
it might be,
dye back.
yeah, it might be because the air pressure might be a bit too high.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I could easily just give that a white with a bit of a polish, and that's gonna just take the kit and lift it up a bit.
Yeah, that's it.
But needs a
Right.
touch up here and there, just around, especially around this, getting this curve right.
Yeah. To be honest, mine was a total fluke. We were like literally out of time last week, and I did it and chucked
Yeah.
it on there, and I'm amazed it's even in the right place. I thought it was going to be off center. I have got tiny little bits of bleed on it that have come through, which hopefully will sand off. But
Yeah.
generally, I must admit, I'm very happy how that worked. That worked a lot better than I
Yeah.
thought it was.
To be honest, the placement's all right. It's just the where it's bled through, and that's more down to because of the tape.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the 40mm tape's as good as the other stuff.
Oh no, it's not. Yeah, it's not the same at all. I don't,
And that's
everyone
what-
says it's the same. It's not.
No, it's
different.
bled through there. Where it's again. You see, I used the 40mm on this stripe as well, and that's not as neat as it could be.
No, the edging and everything on the 40mm is not as good as the
No.
other ones.
So I'm going to have to go back with some tape, and then I'll just mask it properly, and then spray a little bit of white on.
Yeah.
But to be honest, you can tell. Yeah, it's done its job nicely.
Something a bit different. Anyway, Clint says, Master Club track, Steve. Metal links with resin pins.
There, that's some.
And
I'll just move this back out of the way. I'll just take
Bruno says, nice painting session. I think feels closer to the right colour. Maybe a bit of day glow in your mix, and it'll be perfect. As I say, it's a really odd colour, and don't forget Steve's lighting's different to mine. From where he has it back there, it looks like it's just XF7 red, to be honest. But as soon as he gets it in the light, it looks different. You know, we're under a zillion watts of light here. I bet if I put mine in the shade, it'll go deep red as well.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's much in it. You'll find out at Telford when they're next to each other.
Yeah.
We'll have a little survey, little chart. Who's closest, me or Steve? Well, we won't tell who's whose. We won't say whose kit's
Oh, they'll
whose.
know yours compared to mine.
So spot the kit. Whose is whose?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
it'll be easy because my doors are all going to be open on mine. Because you've glued
well,
yours
yeah,
up.
I did,
haven't.
yeah, because
So
of the
mine-
lines of it. But like I say, I wouldn't mind doing the Los Angeles one.
Mm. We could do a fleet. We'll have a fleet of helicopters.
Yeah, there they are. Master Club metal tracks. Yeah, they do quite a few actually. Chieftain, different Chieftain ones, T10, BMP2. Mainly Russian, actually, a couple of British. So,
Right.
yeah, I'll definitely get some of them to try out. But they're doing for your Chieftain, Phil.
Oh, right. Well, I might do that because, say, I don't like the tracks because obviously they're just like solid ones.
And you can either get them with normal new pads or the worn pads.
Yeah.
So I believe you put the resin in afterwards on them, or they're out of stock with this supplier.
Oh, right.
The norm, or out of stock again. But you will be able to find them for you.
Yeah, so we'll have a look round. Are we having a theme this year, Steve, for the Telford table? Chris wants to know.
Well, I asked you, sent you a text, but I don't think you saw it.
I just ignored it.
Really?
Hey, it's your job.
It would be nice, but it don't give us long. But we've got September, October, so you've got 2 months and a bit. So I reckon that we should think of some that'd be good. We'll have a quick think, me and Phil, and we'll see what we can come up with and let you know ASAP. Right, but it would be nice to have, so we can all build along summer, because we've got. I honestly don't know. Or should we just do it as we did this year and just carry on and then
builds and six?
Yeah, and then stuff like this, like Swear God have dolphins there and other bits, and then next year we could go for a theme and then even kind of have a backdrop for the models. So
yeah,
and really go all out for a big, really
actually be posh and like professional and things.
Yeah,
crikey, that's not in our ethos here, is it? Aren't we just like wing it and see?
But I reckon.
All right, okay, so next year we'll do something pucker.
Yeah, and we'll start that off at the beginning of the year, and we'll go all out, and then that'd be a good idea. That it's just a shame, obviously, that the guys all over, the world won't be able to join in much. But then again, if you want to send the models over.
What, you're going to babysit them all, are you?
Yeah, that's a bad idea. Send them to Phil.
No, I can't. I haven't got time. I've got to take all the stock up.
You'll need a bloody HGV, wouldn't you? Can you imagine trying to get that into the centre?
Yeah, this year we're actually going to be taking a van because obviously I'm not going to get anything in the cash car. At least with the Jeep, I could get everything in that. It was like, cavernous, that thing. But the cash car has got no boot. So even with the seats down, you're going to get bugger all. So this year we are taking a van. So we're definitely doing that this year. So yes, it'll be lots of fun. Usual thing, if you want to come and see us, do so. We're talking about a members meet. We always do it usually 2 o'clock every day. So if you want to do obviously the Saturday around the stand, usually we're in the same place, Hall 2, next to the big door opposite the loos. If they put us there again, I assume they will. So we'll do the members meet at 2 o'clock. You can come and join us there, and then obviously if you'd like to join us during the evenings, we're usually in the Telford Central Premier Inn, so feel free to pop along and see us there as well.
Yeah. Hopefully our friends at the Tornado Sig will be next to us again. I think they've asked for it. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that's it. It's quite nice how people ask to be near us now.
Yeah.
Where in previous years they've asked to be away from us because we take up too much room.
Well, that's it. We can spread out with them guys.
Yeah, that's it.
There's a couple of them are members.
Yeah.
Good friend.
That's it. Yeah, absolutely.
Good old Nathan. That's who I'll be with at Driffield.
Isn't it Nathan's birthday yesterday, out of interest?
I think it was, yeah.
It was. Happy birthday, Nathan, for yesterday.
Yeah, happy birthday, mate.
Yeah.
I'll see you a week on Sunday. If he's nice, I'll get a birthday cake made for him.
Whip one up. Right, well, I think that's about us for today. Sorry about, obviously, technical difficulties we had earlier. Sometimes it just conspires against us, really. But hopefully we're all there. But we've caught up. We've done some good work today. I must admit, I'm happy that we've done those, got them painted up. Something nice and orange. And as this is drying, it's looking better and better. So I'm quite happy with that. I think it's just going to take about a month to dry. So by the next show, I should be able to unmask it. No, by then I would have checked it and made sure it was all okay and everything else. So probably on Tuesday's vlogging and all the rest of it, we'll catch up. Remember, there's no technical proper news show on Monday because it's bank holiday here. To be honest, I'm out with John and Lynn, our very own John, who joins us on the shows. We're having a day out with them on Monday. So obviously won't be doing it full on, but you will get the next part of the Focke-Wulf will be up with you. So you guys who aren't having a bank holiday or a holiday Monday, you can still watch some stuff as well. So that will be up with you on Monday. Covers basically, well, as we make our way through it. It's going to be another 2 parts, I think, to that. I'm going to do another bit more editing of that tomorrow afternoon as well, I think. So we'll find out exactly what that's going to be. And then part 1 of the Tackham Chieftain will be up with you on Wednesday. Steve and me will be back with you on Tuesday as well for Tuesday Q&As as always. You can join us live in the afternoons. We stream it live, but if not, the recording normally goes up around about 6 or 7 o'clock if you don't want to watch us live. And that's it. Thank you for today, mate. I think we did very well.
We did, yeah.
I must
Like I say, I think if we get us before next show, try and get the rest of the paint finished, and then we can just sit and decor and chat away next time.
We can decal it, and then as I say, lacquer them in, and then after that we can come back in with the black and all the touch-up work afterwards, isn't it? Redo the gear, the bits and pieces.
Yeah. Well, well, when as soon as it's dry, I'll touch up the orange and gotta leave it a few days. But with it being warm, it should dry quite quick.
Yes, that's it. Really.
There's a few blemishes on mine I want to try and take care of, which. Yeah.
No, all good. Right. So there we go, guys. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you again in 2 weeks for another Saturday live show and all the rest of it. I'm just thinking, it won't be this weekend, will it? When's the for the Tuesday night debunkle?
That'll be a week. Tuesday's the 30th. So
yeah, that's it. So it will be 6. Yeah, Tuesday the 6th. You want to join us for that one because we're going to be doing our giveaway of everything I found in here that technically I don't want. No, it's not. There's some good stuff in there, duplicates of stuff that I've got. There's some kits, there's weathering sets, there's paint sets, there's all types of bits and pieces in there, and even a TIE fighter with dust. I might even dust it for you before that goes out as well. So one lucky winner, we get the guys to draw somebody at random, and I'll send that out to you on Wednesday by courier anywhere in the world where it needs to go, because it weighs a ton actually, that box now. It's full up with all that stuff. We do it like that. So there we go. Thank you for joining us. Thank you very much for today, Steve. Sorry about all the problems.
No, it's no trouble.
Are you going to go and rescue your kits now, are you?
No, I'll sweep them up and throw them.
I must admit, no one's mentioned it, but that's exactly what I did to the swordfish, because it's never going to get fixed. It was in a terrible state, and unfortunately it met its maker. So when I had to clear out, it did get swept and dumped. Because
you should have had it on Destroyer model.
Well, it was destroyed, because by the time I picked it up by the wing, it sheared off. When I went to move it, so that was the end of it. In this case, no, it's gone too far, and I'm quite lucky. That's my only loss I've had in years, so I'm not going to, get worried about it, and we'll just move on. Any years to come, I'll build another one. Although I'll probably do the 48th version. Tamiya would be nicer. It won't take up quite as much room. So yes. Right, there we go, guys. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you all in 2 weeks' time. Or you can join me and Steve, obviously, on Tuesday afternoon live. All right. See you guys. Bye.
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 I'm waving.
Keep waving.
Okay, I've stopped. So.